Oh, my God.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Thursday, February 14th, 2019. This is your award-winning Gimbo Nation Media Assassination episode 1112.
This is No Agenda.
Celebrating love, baby, and broadcasting live from the capital of the drone, Star State, here in downtown Austin, Tejas, in the Cludio. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where the tracks are flooded, the trains are moving slow, commerce is coming to a halt. I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
Tracks flood. I just got an EAT alert that San Jose is going to flood.
Oh, good.
No, it's not good.
San Jose is it's a city. How's it going to flood?
I don't know. I just saw the emergency.
Now, there was going to be a foot of water in some of the streets, and that's, oh my God, it's flooded. What are we going to do?
It seemed like a mandatory evacuation to me. Mandatory.
Anybody from San Jose?
I should look it up. It was. I subscribe to all the alert systems. They have RSS feeds. It's kind of cool.
So I expect when the Zephyr comes through, which will probably be a couple minutes late, it'll be going through like at about 1 mile an hour because the Capitol Corridor went by just before the show. I'm telling you, it was barely moving, just creeping along.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, everybody cares.
Well, happy
Valentine's Day, everybody.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Valentine.
That's how kids universally say it in the States. When you grow up, you say Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Valentine.
It's Valentine.
It's Valentine.
Which is really, I looked into the origins of Valentine's Day, St. Valentine's Day. It's kind of gory.
Yeah, it goes back to the 1600s.
Yeah,
it's like
guy got his head cut off.
It's not a Hallmark holiday.
No, it's not. It wasn't until Cadbury and Hershey's came along, and they said, "Hey." But yeah, it was about sending a note to your loved one. Ultimately, 1,000 years ago, something crazy like that. But today
I think it was supposed to be a secret lover.
Yeah, could be. Now, what was Dame Astrid had a note? She sent it. Dame Astrid lives in Tokyo. She sent a note about Valentine's Day in Japan.
Yeah, it was about 3 years ago. She sent that note.
What was?
We haven't heard from her.
So we haven't heard from her since.
She says that in Japan, the whole Valentine's Day is only women to men, and so they buy chocolates for men.
Huh.
They give cards to men, and the men go, well, whatever.
Yeah, well, whatever. Yeah, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, whatever, baby. Yeah.
Thank you for the card.
Thank you. Yes. It was. I saw that you had a lot of issues with the newsletter, getting it out to people.
It wasn't so much. This is, I think, happens every so often. And what I put in a little secondary note was, hey, if you didn't get the newsletter at all, and you look in all your boxes, spam box, you look in the promotions box, the updates box, I don't know why they have all these boxes, and the inbox. If it's not in any of them, let me know. Now, right. Of course, a lot of people just let me know anyway. Hey, I know it came in fine. What are you bitching about? Which is not helpful. But I'd say at least 20 people sent notes in saying it's not anywhere. Which makes me either think that Google's throwing away mail because it's all Gmail accounts with the exception of one guy. They're just throwing away email, which is possible, kind of like the post office, the bad mailman does.
I know what's going on. I can tell you exactly what's happening.
Well, I'm all ears.
And it was in the show notes, I think the last show or the show before, we just didn't get to it. Sometimes just not enough time. Google has implemented their machine learning platform, TensorFlow, into Gmail. Headline on The Verge: Gmail is now blocking 100 million extra spam messages every day with AI. Now, this is something I have been asking for. I said, you want to show me artificial intelligence? Fix my email. And I'm not talking just about spam, but put things in the right box and remember who I care about and that kind of stuff. It should be possible with TensorFlow.
It should be possible with Google and all the information they have.
Well, it's not, and there's tons of stuff winding up in the spam box. Apparently, PayPal security emails, when you log in from a different computer or from some IP address that is not recognized, it'll ask you to go through a verification process. That email that sends you the note saying, hey, something logged in here that you may or may not be aware of, that now goes to spam because of TensorFlow. TensorFlow. It's magical. But John, don't you see the fallacy of this?
No, but I want you to go to the fallacy after I say this. Spam is one thing. Blocking the email and never putting it in the spam box is another.
And it wouldn't surprise me if that's another feature.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Well, there's also now an issue. Gmail does rank your email by all kinds of different things that happen under the hood. So if you, like, for instance, my email server does not have it doesn't do SSL. It's a TSL or SSL, one of those two, when communicating with other SMTP servers, which is bad. I need to fix it. Well, I mean, I don't want to, but thanks to Encrypt Anywhere. But yeah, it makes kind of sense that that should be encrypted properly. But I encrypt my individual emails. But Gmail could just refuse it. You sent an email to me that somehow went to adamclarkcurry@gmail.com, which does exist, but I never use. And it looked at your email server and said, nah, I mean, because I could see the headers, said, no, this doesn't make sense, not secure. We're not going to pass it on.
That's different than what I'm bitching about. I'm not getting these, that was a bounce notice.
It was not a bounce, but okay.
Well, okay, but I got a notice. I got informed.
I got you.
That this email didn't go through. You. I don't see that happening unless MailChimp is getting all these messages and I'm not finding out about it. That's why I'm going to pass all these names over to MailChimp and say, hey, what's going on here? Are we getting bounce notices? Why aren't these people getting the mail that you're sending?
Got it. I mean,
meanwhile, there are plenty of people that, I've never had a problem. It's always in my inbox.
I've never had a problem. Always in my inbox, too. All 2 copies. I subscribed twice. Yeah. Anyway, maybe other people will care then that Gmail is now using their artificial intelligence to filter your email. Tell me how your results are. I'm very curious.
Well, from what I can tell, they're going to stink.
Well, let's see. We had a couple of things happen this past week here in United States politics, which is always good for a chuckle. We had the attention drawn away from AOC to fellow freshman Congressman Ilhan Omar, who touched the third rail of United States politics. What a mistake.
Congresswoman.
What a mistake. This is a big mistake what she made here.
Well, she got chewed out by everybody.
And we need to stop and talk about this. So what she said in multiple tweets was, there's Jewish money in U.S. politics. I'm paraphrasing to a huge degree. And Jewish money is Israeli money. I'm paraphrasing what she said. What would you say? That's fair? That's kind of what she was tweeting?
I don't know that it's fair. But it's kind of what she was tweeting. But the thing was, what was the point of her tweeting any of this? We know what's going on. I mean, is she revealing new? I mean, this is like AOC does the same thing. She asks stupid questions and as if it's a revelation.
Well, what was interesting and to some degree ironic is that everybody, left and right, Democrat, Republican, all up in arms. Oh, anti-Semitic, the president. Who hates Jews? He's Hitler, in case you forgot. He is. He's literally Hitler, who hates the Jews. But he was even. I mean, you go really far if you get Hitler to say to defend the Jews. But yes,
now you're doing a Ben Shapiro.
I know. So neither you or I are qualified to speak about this. We're not allowed to talk about anything that's going on in U.S. politics as it involves Israel or Jews.
I know a Jew.
I know. In fact, I'm going to play a Jew. I'm going to play Steve the Jew.
Steve the Jew.
Yes.
This takes the show to a new level.
I haven't told him yet that's what I call him, but I'm sure he'll be calling me. This is Steve Pachenik, also known as Steve the Jew.
Hi, my name is Dr. Pachenik. Today I want to address the fact that Representative Ilhan Omar, the lovely lady from Minnesota who's Muslim, was forced to apologize to all the Jews in America for the statement that she meant, which was absolutely correct. And this is the following statement: that Jewish money is behind AIPAC, which means the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, which is the biggest lobbyist group in Congress. And she was correct. There is a huge amount of Jewish money behind it, and I don't find that anti-Semitic. For those of you who don't know me, I am Jewish. I came out of the diaspora. I basically am related to Rambam, and I was involved with, my family was involved with.
Who's Rambam?
Who's Rambam?
Is he related to Rahm Emanuel?
One of our friends in the chat room must know who Rambam is.
Yeah, or if not, I'm sure one of our Israeli knights will know. Rambam.
Begin and Jabotinsky. So let me get to the major point. This representative has the absolute right to say whatever she feels about Jews, whether it includes me or not. As an American, I find it offensive that she was accused of being anti-Semitic. As a matter of fact, AIPAC is this dangerous lobbying group. As Brad Sherman, Congressman Brad Sherman of California, a very smart, rational, liberal Democrat, said, the most powerful group in Congress, bar none, is AIPAC. You're either with AIPAC or against AIPAC. In fact, we Jews represent less than 3% of the United States, yet we influence over 67% of all the people, all the congressmen, all the senators, all the presidents, all of whom have to abide by AIPAC's dictates. Now, AIPAC says, oh, we don't donate to anybody. That's correct. Like a Jewish mob run by Meyer Lansky and Long East Wilhelm, they're very shrewd. What do? They have a PAC, and what they do is to create all kinds of boondoggles where they allow Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, the Bushes, Obamas to all go on free trips all around the world, also to Israel several times, to make sure that they are pro-Israel. If you are not pro-Israel, you are then against AIPAC, and AIPAC will take you down.
Steve the Jew, everybody. Sounds about right.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Robbie,
that's what all these pressure groups do.
Rabbi Moshe Ben Maimon is Rambam.
Okay.
He was one of the towering figures in the history of the Jewish people.
Oh, okay.
There you go. So Rambam.
Tall guy then.
Oh, Black Betty. Rambabam. Anyway, I thought that was very interesting that she just went in and just hit that one, and especially
this shows me how naive she is.
Oh, I don't think she's naive. I think she's scripted. I think she's scripted, John. Just like AOC. Oh, these are the Justice Democrats, guys. This is.
Did she join later? Well, maybe the Justice Democrats are all run. It's possible.
Oh, I think they are. Here was a little convo on Meet the Press about this fracas.
Kamala has a track record. She had a track record in Minneapolis.
Track record.
Many Jewish leaders were concerned about her statements.
That's a fair point.
And this has become a serial offense for her, right? She had that tweet about Israel hypnotizing the world.
Look, it's what
it's not just her.
It's not just her.
It's also Rashida Tlaib. It's also Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who praised Jeremy Corbyn, who is friendly to Hezbollah. This is a problem for the Democratic Party. You talk about consequences. The political consequences of the Democratic Party being associated with political anti-Semitism are huge.
Political anti-Semitism. This is good, man. This is being used now. Thank you.
He dropped that bomb in there, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Associated with political.
We never heard that before. Have you heard it before?
New to me. I like it. Political anti-Semitism.
So that's different somehow?
What could that mean? Political anti-Semitism.
That means they're using. Okay, I think I know what it means.
They're using anti-Semitism for political means?
Yeah.
Well, how's that working out?
Anti-Semitism are huge, and Eugene's absolutely right. There's a battle that is just beginning within the Democratic Party. You look what Mark Mellman is doing. They have to fight this.
I'm sorry.
Hold on. That's what political anti-Semitism is. I've never used this term. I'm going to use it now. Dog whistle. It's a dog whistle, a secret code, a signal to the Jew haters that are apparently just that the Democrat Party is rife with.
Well, she's got to hone the transmission because the Hitler-in-chief responded adversely.
Well, the Hitler-in-chief was supposed to respond adversely.
Oh.
This just proves she's right.
Ah, yes, you're... How stupid of me.
It's just beginning within the Democratic Party. And you look at what Mark Mellman is doing. They have to fight this. And the fact that it's being imported is very disturbing to members of the Jewish community. This issue...
Members of the Jewish community. I love these terms. Why don't you just say to the Jews? No, we have to be polite. For some reason, that's wrong.
To members.
Not here on the No Agenda Show, people. Everyone's equal.
To the Jewish community.
This issue of anti-Semitism, sadly, is surfacing on the fringe left and the fringe right. So this is
It's on the fringe right. It is now being imported through socialist politics, which I think is an interesting development. Through socialist politics into the...
Yeah, write it down. Imported through socialist politics. So this is interesting. So socialists are anti-Semites. And I guess by pointing to Jeremy Corbyn, that's kind of solidified, although I think that's just an individual choice, whatever his issue is.
Democratic Party. Nancy Pelosi had a horrible week. She has spent the whole week cleaning up after Ilhan Omar.
No,
is that how she's going to spend her Congress?
No. And I'm saying this, I'm trying to talk about the larger, what are we supposed to do when you have a political, whatever you want to call it, span that goes from Omar to King, which eventually,
of
course,
vote them out. And Republicans,
the question is, what do you do?
King, and he should be primaried, and he should be voted out. And the Democrats now need to take similar steps with Omar. And she's going to say this again.
You know, let's just presume for a moment that the Justice Democrats, which includes this Elon and also Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, let's just presume they are
about 6 others.
Yeah. Let's just presume that they are being run. They're being run by the people behind them. Their social media is not all theirs for sure. Not all of it is her. It's just, or some of it is pre-written or something. There's too much stuff going on.
It appears to be. Yeah. There's no reason to do any of this.
Now, this Elon, she's on some committee. I forget which one it is.
Elon! And
she was questioning Elliot Abrams. Elliot Abrams, famous for Iran-Contra, involved in that whole mess, brought back in to, make sure the Venezuela project goes according to plan, bringing in the experts. Now, she's asking things that to me is like, oh, this is great. Someone's asking this. It's funny because she's asking about his history, certainly with Iran-Contra, but she's not. I mean, these things are always staged. Whenever there's a committee hearing, it's for television. Often the questions and answers are known or published, and it's all to get a soundbite on television. That's the whole point. Everyone kind of knows what to expect. But it seems to me that someone decided, let's send Omar in as a heat-seeking missile and blow up this Elliot Abrams. Because all she's doing is reading. She's reading her questions. And, man, she reminds me so much of, who's the Dutch politician? I'm spacing for a second. The one that was in the movie with Theo van Gogh from Somalia.
Right. That she's the one who was the anti-Muslim woman, no.
Yes. And I'm hoping the troll room will give it to me. But
yeah, she's famous.
Yeah. So she sounds just like her. But you'd listen to this, and I pulled out some pauses, etc. But you listen to it, all she's doing here is embarrassing this guy about his past. Ayaan Hirsi Ali, that's who it is. Thank you, troll room. Ayaan Hirsi Ali, who's now married to the British elite guy, whose name I can't remember either. Let's play the clip.
Mr. Adams,
Oh, by the way, his name is Abrams. Consistently, throughout the questioning, she calls him Mr. Adams, which to me is like either you really can't read because your brain is just turned, and he has a sign right in front of him. Your brain is you just whatever's programmed, you can't get away from Adams, but she continues to say that.
Mr. Adams, in 1991, you pleaded guilty to 2 counts of withholding information from Congress regarding your involvement in the Iran-Contra affair. For which
she can't even read the Iran-Contra affair. There's a lot of
so she's. By the way, I want to stop since we have stopped. The Zephyr is now going by. I swear it's going at 5 miles an hour.
You called it. You're from the future.
Yeah.
Called it. Nice. I think.
Tracks are flooded.
All right. Anything else?
So she can't even say Contra. So she's, in other words, talking through her head. She doesn't know what she's doing. She's never heard of Iran Contra.
No, she thinks it's part of Coachella. She really doesn't know.
Yeah, that's it. Coachella.
All right, onward.
Your involvement in the Iran-Contra affair, for which you were later pardoned by President George H.W. Bush. I fail to understand why members of this committee or the American people should find any testimony that you give today to be truthful.
If I can respond to that,
it wasn't a question. That was not a question. That was I reserve the right to my time.
Reclaiming my time.
It is not right.
That was not a question.
Committee can attack
on February 8th,
who is not permitted to reply.
That was not a question. Thank you.
Listen to this condescending piece. This is great. I'm going to just roll this back a little bit. Because she ad-libs from the script once in a while. This was one of those ad-libs. No, it was pretty good.
Who is not permitted to reply.
That was not a question. Thank you for your participation.
I see the humor in that. Thank you for your participation. That was not a question.
On February 8th, 1982, you testified before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee about U.S. policy in El Salvador. In that hearing, you dismissed...
El Valvador?
Committee about U.S. policy in El Salvador.
I think she's saying... I think she's saying El Salvador. El Salvador. But I like El Valvador better.
El Valvador.
And I'm writing it down. You never know.
1982, you testified before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee about U.S. policy in El Salvador. In that hearing, you dismissed as communist propaganda report about the massacre of El Mozote, in which more than 800 civilians, including children as young as 2 years old, were brutally murdered.
Wait for this. This is a great question.
By U.S. trained troops. During that massacre, some of those troops bragged about raping a 12-year-old girl before they killed them. Girls before they killed them. You later said that the U.S. policy in El Salvador was a fabulous achievement. Yes or no, do you still think so?
So, to recap her question, U.S. troops went in there, raped young girls, and you call it a fabulous, fabulous ordeal. And only yes or no answer, please.
From the day that President Duarte was elected in a free election to this day, El Salvador has been a democracy. That's a fabulous achievement.
Yes or no, do you think that massacre was a fabulous achievement that happened?
Now, the question is refined a little bit by the representative from Minnesota. Is that raping? Is raping of kids? Don't you think that's great, sir? I'm here to ask you serious questions, not waste anyone's time who happens to be watching C-SPAN.
Was a fabulous achievement that happened under our watch.
That is a ridiculous question, and
yes or no?
No.
I will
Chairman,
take that as a yes.
That's my favorite part. He says no.
I'll take it as a yes.
Exactly. He says no, and she reads from the script. I'll take that as a yes.
Under our watch.
That is a ridiculous question, and
yes or no?
No.
I will take that as a yes.
What was on her script was he won't answer, and that's where you say I take that as a yes. But when he says no, there should have been a little tree branch there for her. If no, arrow.
Skip logic.
Say skip logic. Apply some of that tensor slow to it, will you? My goodness, what a waste of time. But that's just the heat-seeking missile. There's no reason why she's...
that as a yes. Does she know what an idiot? Well, no. I think all the Justice Democrats are this way. They can't think for themselves, obviously. Somebody's scripting this, and the person scripting is not doing that good of a job.
Well, I have one of the guys who I believe is scripting it. His name is Hassan Piker. And he used to be with the Young Turks. He was one of these founders of, before it was the Justice Democrats that had a different name. But these are all former Bernie bros. And I found this clip of him talking about, really about everything you hear from these freshmen, from these Justice Democrats in Congress right now. The redistribution of wealth is coming.
Listen, I'm a simple guy, okay? And I'm not a very smart guy either. But even from where I'm standing, nothing says the system is absolutely broken like the existence of billionaires.
He's also Cenk's nephew, Cenk from the Young Turks.
What I'm simply going to say is that wealth is never created in isolation. Every billionaire and millionaire created their wealth with workers who make infinitely less than they do, and we're conditioned into thinking that this is the natural order of the universe. And one of the outcomes of this mentality is the justification for extreme wealth inequality. We live in the richest nation on earth, the richest nation to have ever existed, and people struggle to pay their bills and suffer when they can't get medical treatment. All around the world, you see tensions rising. In the absence of class consciousness or an actual alternative to capitalism, we see people railing against more tangible targets, immigrants and refugees, or brown people, or even intangible concepts like globalism, which is the system that's bringing brown people to our borders. Is there a migrant crisis? Sure. But the solution isn't to shut off borders and get increasingly more violent with their maintenance. The solution is to solve inequality, to solve famine, to solve poverty, and all the issues that come along with it on a global scale. Technological advancements have rendered globalism an unstoppable force, so we have to adapt to it. One immediate way of doing that is through drastic wealth redistribution. And that starts with banning billionaires.
Okay.
And now people all around the world are waking up. They're coming to the realization that this is no way to run a society. And perhaps that's why billionaire is becoming a bad word. And look, this may scare you, but a more equitable distribution of wealth is coming, whether it's by policy or pitchforks.
There you go. So now you understand where they're coming from. Billionaire is a bad word. Except if the billionaire is Michael Bloomberg, who has just pledged $500 million to the Democrats to help them get Trump out of office, then you're a good billionaire.
Yeah, I'm sure they wouldn't bitch about Soros giving them money either.
No. So this is what's going
That's
on.
what we're stuck with.
Yeah.
Luckily, there's only a few of these yahoos, and Nancy should take care of it.
She can't. She's having trouble. I think she's having trouble with it. Yeah.
AOC doesn't seem to care what Nancy thinks.
No, she's kind of bulletproof that way. And she won't get anything done, But I think it's fun to see with this whole Green New Deal thing that's got her name on it, and I guess now they're going to have an actual roll call vote. So
yes, I have McConnell making that announcement. You might as well play that.
Oh, you do? Oh, excellent. Let's listen.
Let me say, first of all, however, I've noted with great interest the Green New Deal. And we're going to be voting on that in the Senate. We'll give everybody an opportunity to go on record and see how they feel about the Green New Deal.
The way he says it.
That's going to put a lot of people on notice. Oh, crap. I got to put my name to this. And what's not unexpected, but is always fun to watch is, I read the resolution. It's, just like one of these globalist type United Nations things, hey, it's all crappy. It's bad. We got to do something about it. Yeah, we all agree. It's pretty innocuous. You can put your name on it. But what it represents is now this social media flurry of FAQs and cow farts and all this. So the Green New Deal will always be associated with giving.
You'd be associated with cow farts if you vote for it.
Cow farts and worse.
So I've been looking at been putting together a cheat sheet, a handicapping sheet for the
handicapping sheet.
Yeah, for the candidates.
Very nice. So
and it's going to be a lot different than what everybody else has because I still include Hillary.
Uh-huh.
But there's only that guy Sherrod Brown seems to be the only guy with any common sense, and he's actually moved into the top 5 as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Because he thinks the Green New Deal is bull crap, and he doesn't mind saying that. But everybody else is wavering on it. And one of the candidates, and I'm trying to collect some of the candidates' commentary on this. And by the way, the first, as we bitched about these candidates showing up, we don't want to talk about them too much. We should note that the first debate will be in June this year.
Brother.
So it's coming up. So we have to start talking about it.
Just briefly on that, I was reading that the way they're going to determine these debates with, 16 or 17 candidates?
30.
30 candidates. The way they're going to determine it is by grassroots financial support. So instead of polling, which is typical for how you're placed in the debates, the DNC, Perez from the DNC has said, no, we're going to see who has grassroots financial support.
How does that work?
Well, it's going to be a lot of credit card activity going on in D.C. is what I'm thinking.
Well, anyway, I think they're going to have to do it kind of like the Republicans did with the child's table, having this second.
That's what Perez literally said. We don't want to have the child's table like the Republicans did it.
They have to do something like that. They can't just put up to 10 people.
Why would you? Let's not have them do anything smart. We have a show to do.
Well, they're not. And you're worried?
Not really. You're correct.
So Amy Klobuchar, who's now wearing a lot more makeup, was on.
Hello, old white guy.
She's wearing a lot more makeup, and she's trying to make herself look more like a presidential candidate, which she believes she is.
And I agree. I noticed it too, and it looked really good with all the snow sticking to her face.
Oh, the snow on her head was really funny. There she is giving there's nothing worse than giving a speech about global warming in a snowstorm.
She had so much makeup on that the snow hit her face and the warmth of her body didn't even penetrate it. Snow just stuck. Yeah, I know it. I've had makeup like on for most of my adult life. I know.
It's like on asphalt.
Yes.
All right. Well, so here she is. She was on Brett Barr. And he's asking her a bunch of different questions. But he got to the Green New Deal question, which is the one I was interested in to see how she's going to weasel her way out of this. And it was funny. She didn't do a very good – she kind of weaseled her way out, but she kept saying – and I'll point him out after she says them. She kept saying stuff. Well, those – he'd ask like, what about air travel? You don't think we should stop – we should back off on air travel? And she says, no. I don't think that we should do that. And then she kept making the same mistake. She said, yet. Like an idiot.
Here's the Green New Deal. If the Senate Majority Leader brings it to the floor, how do you vote on it?
The Green New Deal, I see it as, by the way, aspirational. I see it as a jumpstart. So I would vote yes, but I would also, if it got down to the nitty-gritty of an actual legislation as opposed to, here are some goals we have, that would be different for me.
But here's the goals. Okay. Full transition off fossil fuels, yes, including drastically reducing air travel. Mm-hmm. You're for it?
I am for a jumpstart of the discussion and a framework, as Senator Markey has described. I am not for reducing air travel. So
Net zero greenhouse gas emissions.
I don't think that is going to happen in the next few years, but you can imagine by new technology, and by the way, that includes nuclear and everything else, that we could get to a better place.
Economic security for all who are unable or unwilling to work.
I don't agree with the unwilling to work.
And last one, upgrade or replace every building in the U.S. for state-of-the-art energy efficiency.
I think we should put in better building standards. But could I just say what I would like to do, and I proposed in my announcement, what I would like to see is on day one to get back into the International Climate Change Agreement.
I'm disappointed that Brett Baer over there on Fox didn't bring up the cow farts. I mean, come on. That would have been hilarious.
Baer's the last guy to do that.
Yeah.
He's probably the most serious guy over there.
By the way, that whole presentation she did in the snow, I'm offended by her doing that in whiteface. I'm working on my material.
Yeah, you sure are.
Keep
digging.
So there's other really interesting things taking place, discussions we've had on this very show for several months. I don't know if you saw this on the overnight sensation, Don Lemon. It was Don Lemon, April Ryan, and two white guys in the middle of a four across the screen box. And the white guys were white. Like one had a bald head and like rimmed glasses, just white. And they're arguing about the blackness of Kamala Harris, which now apparently it's Kamala. I was told it was Kamala, and now it's Kamala. So we're back to Kamala. Did you see this?
I would say no, I didn't. Of course not. And by the way, I was thinking about this Kamala and Kamala.
I heard her say Kamala. I had the clip somewhere of her saying
it. Sounds more like Pamela, so
Yeah.
I think it's more acceptable to the middle class. But Kamala sounds more like African. It's probably a positive thing for some voters. So I think they're going to stick with the African stuff because Barack Hussein Obama
sounds better than Barry. Sounds better than Barry, doesn't it?
It wasn't Barry. Yeah.
So Kamala was born in the United States of two immigrant parents, father from Jamaica, mother from India. She then grew up in Ottawa, Canada, which no one talks about in this clip. And what we have discussed here is, well, she's a woman of color. She's brown. She's not black. She's brown. But you could say she looks like an African-American, but she's not. So the next question is, does she have the African-American experience? Is it the same as just being black? There's some terms in this clip that are very interesting to listen to as April Ryan of the, I think it's the Urban Radio Networks, argues with Don Lemon. And she says there is no difference between being African-American and someone of color in the United States. Don Lemon disagrees. The white guys in the middle just look stupid.
There's a lot to unpack here. Number one, what does black enough mean? Can someone give me a definition of what black enough is? I don't want to go down the road of the stereotype when people say we're black. Number one, she is a black woman. She's a mixed race woman. When you see her blackness, but she is also South Asian. Her mom is South Asian and her dad is Jamaican.
April, let me listen.
Yes.
More power to her. And I think it's great. That should be enough. Listen, it is enough that she's a black woman.
We are not a monolith.
No. I think you're not hearing what people are saying. The people who are saying is she black enough, that's bull, that's BS. But to want a distinction to say is she African American or is she black, or is she whatever? There is nothing wrong with that. There is a difference between being African American and being black. Latino people are people of color, but they're not black. They're brown people.
She is a woman of color, but she is a black woman.
Okay, that's why I agree with that. I agree with that. But is she African American? No. But is she African American? There is a difference. There's nothing wrong with that. No one is trying to take anything away from her.
Let's go down into her lineage.
I think you're falling into the trap of that. All she had to do was say, "I am black, but I'm not African American."
You know, as I was watching this.
It's mania.
April Ryan is, first of all, she's a Republican. Second, who is she? What is she trying to defend, or who is she? What is her point other than sheer lunacy? And here's an African American, which she is not, Don Lemon, as far as I know, and he's saying no, shut up. I mean, why does she even has the gall to argue in today's social justice warrior world? Is beyond me.
That's it.
Don, I'm not falling in a trap. I'm not falling in.
Here, white guy tried to say something. Goodbye.
Let me finish. Hold on. I'm not falling into a trap by that. When she goes down her lineage, many Africans landed in Jamaica and all these other Caribbean islands. So she could indeed
Jamaica's
be
not America.
African American.
Hey, man, the slaves also landed in Jamaica, so she's African American.
Other race, but she is.
Jamaica's not America.
But she is a black woman. She was born
did not
here.
Come out of Jim Crow.
Okay, well let's go
saying.
into Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz.
There it is. You have to come out of Jim Crow. That's the term. She did not come out of Jim Crow. I like that. Which I think means if you don't have a parent or a grandparent or someone in your family who lived under Jim Crow, you're not part of that experience. And you count. I agree with Lemon.
Well, that same goes with Obama.
Well, maybe that's what April Ryan's so afraid of, because once you start thinking about it and you think, well, wait a minute, Obama was American, but he was half Indonesian by his own account. So not really African American.
He wasn't under Jim Crow.
No, he was not. We'll just continue here.
But she was
Jamaica
born
did not
here.
Come out of Jim Crow.
Okay, well, let's go
saying.
into Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz was born in Canada.
I'm not talking about Ted Cruz. This is not about Ted Cruz.
And now she's trying to pull into. She's arguing. She's doing like an. I don't know. This was so out of character for her to argue against another person of color.
I know, but you know what? We cannot. It was hypocrisy. I'm not changing the subject.
Yes, you are.
She's a black woman. I don't know what you want.
Cruz.
Okay.
So what is wrong with asking someone who is of color or black? Are they African American Mexican? Are they Jamaican or whatever it is? But it's not saying
she is a black woman in America.
We are saying that no one is saying she's not black.
Yeah, but
we're asking if she's African American. There is a distinction. There's nothing wrong with asking
she's married to a white man. That's all that stuff is out there.
That's not what that is. You're getting the whole black enough thing.
But that's the kind of stuff that people.
That's not. You're missing the point, April.
All right, I can't even take it anymore. It's another 30 seconds. Done. So there's that is and I'm not sure where this came from. I mean, is it the Democrats who are trying to thin out the field? Is it the
well, she's the number one runner, so they have to really take her. They got to do something. They don't want her running as president. She can't do it. She doesn't have the background. She hasn't got, and she's kind of nutty.
And she's a liar. She's a liar.
And she's a liar. We're talking about the 2-pack thing.
Yeah, well, here's the clip. This was on a radio show, and I did what we usually do here in the No Agenda shows. We try to get the full clip and put a little context around it, so there were some questions asked.
Also, and I know the answer to this, too, they say you oppose legalizing weed.
That's not true.
I know.
and look, I joke about it, half joking. Half my family's from Jamaica. Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me? I guess Jamaicans smoke a lot of weed, possibly.
Right. Yeah. No, I do not. No. And we need to research, which is one of the reasons we need to legalize it. We need to move it on the schedule so that we can research.
Couple of things I got to throw in. One, she was the attorney general. They could have done a lot more to legalize it.
Of course.
In fact, we had the first referendum, which was voted down because they didn't want to legalize it.
That's
so
right.
these pot growers could make more money.
Was that Prop 8? Wasn't it Prop 8 or something like that? I can't remember what it was.
Prop 8 was about the gays.
Oh, yeah. The gays. This was about the weed.
The weed. Now, something about a district attorney prosecuting people while being a pot smoker herself. I personally find it, I think there's nothing wrong with smoking pot, but there's something offensive about the hypocrisy of a district attorney being a pot smoker, stoned, and then passing judgment on somebody busted for marijuana.
I agree. It's not cool.
Kosher.
It's not. It's definitely not kosher.
We need to move it on the schedule so that we can research the impact of weed based on a development.
I love how instead of saying marijuana, hemp, THC, weed, because she's really thought about this and has read a lot of policy documents about weed.
Whipping brain.
I got to hear her say that again. Weed.
Based on a developing brain. Mm-hmm. That part of the brain that develops judgment actually begins its growth at age 18 through age 24.
Oh, that explains me then.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Woo!
The frontal cortex, I think.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's right. And so I believe that we need to research that because I believe we don't fully know the consequences.
What do you listen to? Because I know she has to go. So what does Kamala Harris listen to?
What were you listening to when you was high? What was on? What song was it?
Oh, my goodness. Oh, yeah, definitely Snoop. Tupac, for sure.
So that was the big lie, as that could not be possible since when she was in college, those songs had not been recorded yet, or certainly not released to the public.
Their first albums weren't even out by then.
Yeah, but she's showing her blackness here. But she makes a big mistake. Right here.
What do you listen to now? What's your favorite hip hop artist now? What's your favorite artist?
Who I really love is Cardi B.
You like Cardi B?
I really do.
Okay. Cardi B. Are you familiar with the Cardi B, John?
I've heard the music. It's not at the top of my head.
Well, if you watch the Grammys, she even had her own commercial. Cardi B is famous for that's her signature. And I'd like to share with you some lyrics from Kamala Harris's most famous hip-hop artist. This is Bickenhead from Cardi B. Yeah, pop that pussy like you ain't popped that pussy in a while. Pop that pussy like popping pussy going out of style. Pop, pop, pop that pussy while you work. Pop that pussy up in church. Pop that pussy on the pole. Pop that pussy on the stove. Make that pussy slip and slide like you from the 305. Put your tongue out in the mirror. Pop that pussy while you drive. Spread the ass cheeks open. Make the pussy cracker smile. Lock your legs around that nigga. Make him give your ass a child. What do you think?
Perfect. Well, I don't know if I'd want to
vote for her.
I wouldn't want to vote for her. That's actually pretty good, pretty interesting that she would like that, because she just said she did.
Yes.
I doubt that she's ever heard the woman. She just, I think, throwing stuff out.
Yeah.
In fact, Ben Shapiro kind of mocked her.
On
his show. I don't have any long Ben Shapiro clip, but I do have a small clip where he kind of mocks Kamala Harris because of her laugh. And I thought Shapiro's version of her laugh was pretty good.
Basically, she's a character from 21 Jump Street. That's what she is now. I'm so cool. I'm one of the kids. Also, I'm 50,000 years old. Also, I don't remember what was playing on the radio. It was probably, she's like, when I was in college, what were you playing? It was Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga wasn't born yet, Senator. It doesn't matter.
Whoa. Tell me you have an ISO of that.
I was thinking of getting one, and I don't think I did.
Wait, what's this?
Oh, yeah, you laugh, ISO.
You did? Oh, good one. Oh, man, that's going to compete with my ISO. Which is, by the theory of random numbers, is also a Shapiro ISO. But I have to play it in context first. I've been listening with glee to the podcasters who are filling up their podcasts with all kinds of fun advertisements, and Ben Shapiro definitely.
Oh, God. Yeah, I know which one it is. Oh, my God.
In just a second, I'm going to explain to you what he did to Beto O'Rourke, who was holding a rally.
Listen for the transition.
Maybe 500, 1,000 feet away. I'll explain in just 1 second. First, let's talk about the best Valentine's Day gift that you can give in terms of chocolatey goodness this year. I'm talking, of course, about Sherry's Berries. Now, I had never tried Sherry's Berries. They sent over a package of kosher Sherry's Berries stuff. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
I don't know, John. It's a toss-up for me.
How about playing in both? Play, oh, my God, then the laugh.
Then the hilarious laugh? That may actually work well. Let's see.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I think we have a winner. Beautiful. Oh, my God. Well, so we have, so I guess we took care of Harris there. We're done with her. Ooh, yes, this popped up on the radar yesterday.
Where in the world is
Victoria Kagan Noodleman?
Yeah. Yes, Victoria, Vicky, Victoria Kagan Noodleman. Only 1 year did she stay at the Center for a New American Security, the think tank, and she announced that she was leaving as per immediately. And the CNAS Center for New American Security, President Richard Fontaine has been named acting CEO immediately as the board searches for Nuland's replacement. Victoria Nuland used to be the spokeshole for the State Department when Hillary Clinton was there and during Obama's tenure, and then she was promoted to ambassador to this, I think to the state. It was like some funky title, but she was also deputy.
She was assistant State Department.
Yeah, she was second in charge. She was second in charge.
Secretary.
Yeah. And so she's at this think tank. She's married to Kagan, which is a notorious neocon, real douche. What is she doing? Do you think maybe she got a call from someone? You need to come here immediately and start working with me?
I'm guessing Elliot Abrams.
Now I'm thinking maybe Hillary.
Oh, maybe that's possible.
That was my first thought. It's like, oh, she got the call. It's
a possibility. Maybe she's Hillary's staying under the radar. In all the rundowns, I got about 5 of them from everybody's doing these handicaps. Rolling Stone, even Rolling Stone didn't put her on the list, saying that Paul Podesta. This is the way the quote goes, and this be all end all, by the way. Paul Podesta, her former campaign guy, said that she's not going to be running in 2020, which means is she running in 2024? I don't know. But I don't buy a word of it. It's like, it's the old thing. They used to do this when I was a kid. They used to pull this thing. They don't do this anymore. But it was just, well, I'm not running, but if the party demands it.
Oh, yeah.
If I'm called.
Yeah. If I'm called. Yeah, that's a good one. I like it.
Yeah, if I'm called, then I'll do it.
I like that.
But I don't plan on doing it. But if I'm called, I'll do it. And I believe that she's going to watch this thing fall apart with all these people all going after each other. There's not a strong candidate in the bunch. Sherrod Brown maybe seems a little bit like that because he's kind of an old-fashioned Lyndon Johnson-style Democrat, this good old boy. And he might get some attention. But there's no strong candidates. Bernie's too old, and everybody stole his ideas, so everybody's using Bernie's ideas.
How annoying.
He's done. And so I think Hillary could jump in because she's needed. They need somebody who can win, and they already know she can get the votes. She won the popular vote, after all. She won the popular vote. So we know she can get the votes, and the women love her.
Oh, brother. We went to... we celebrated Valentine's yesterday, since I like to cook, and we have a nice evening. And after the show, it's not going to be much cooking or having a nice evening. I'm pretty much tits up, done, because I put all my heart and soul into this podcast. And so Tina took me to the theater last night, and we saw Hedwig and the Angry Inch. Have you ever seen this presentation?
I believe it's a Broadway play that was short-lived on Broadway.
Yeah, well, it started in a gay bar or a tranny bar, as it was called back in the day, and it grew out, and it was really popular off Broadway. And I didn't even know it went, but it went to Broadway. Didn't do so well, but it's performed apparently around the world. And what was interesting about it, I don't need to go into the whole story, is it was customized for the Austin audience. So with, shout outs to different people in Austin about the mayor.
One of those things. Yeah, we got in San Francisco, we have this never ending play called Beach Blanket Babylon. And the whole thing, it packs them in. But the whole thing is about localizing.
Right. So this was localized also for the Trump hating Austin audience. And people were out of their seats. Just at the mention of, at some point, it's like, I'm going to read these children's books, and there's a Good Night, Donnie, it's about Trump, whatever it was. But people were just insanely happy. Jumping up and down. Yes! And doing the Nancy clap. The one that she did to Trump during the State of the Union.
Yeah.
The shade, I think it's called the Nancy shade clap. So you wonder, man, how does this happen with these people?
It just happens.
Actually, I do know.
School system.
Didn't AOC go to Boston, to BU, Boston University? That's where she did that. Yeah, she went to Boston University.
For what?
For school.
She did?
Yeah. Think so.
Well, now we have to look it up.
Yeah, definitely.
Consult the book of knowledge.
I thought she was in a BU T-shirt in that video.
That doesn't mean anything. I've got a BU T-shirt.
Was a video about the school?
Oh, no. I don't do videos for the school.
Okay. Did you look it up yet? Yeah, Boston University. There you go. Education. Boston University. Well, this makes total sense. We got a note, boots on the ground, from Christine, producer Christine. Adam and John, my name is Christine. I am boots on the ground at Boston University, where I attend evening classes. Based on both your and John's precise and consistent analysis in regards to liberal madness within universities, as an independent, I walked through the university doors silently with my invisible no-agenda hat on, and I observe. By the way, it's a great promotion. For $33.33, we'll give you an invisible no-agenda hat. This is a great idea, Christine. Yes. I like it. I walk through the university doors silently with my invisible no-agenda hat on and observe. I feel as if I have to bite my tongue, sit in silence, and avoid heavy sighs and eye-rolling when it comes to inconsistent Trump bashing. Class started 3 weeks ago. This particular class is Psychology for Personality, taught by a 58-year-old South Korean native man. First class, he was dropping F-bombs left and right, and with my no-agenda hat on, I pinpointed him as a liberal professor based on the constant F-bomb analysis. It wasn't before long he was going off on Trump in a temper tantrum, and I recorded it. Shall we listen? It was done on her iPhone, And so I cranked it up, and I think we got some, the audio is pretty decent. And this is, what is he talking about here? He's talking about the wall, about Trump, and just listen to the sanity or the perceived sanity of this professor who is teaching a class in psychology for personality.
We actually, not you and me, I'm not involved, and I don't think you are either, but Trump's administration has separated so many immigrant children from their parents. And you mark my words, in a couple of years, this is going to become, one of those things that's like a crime against humanity. They've lost track of the kids and who their parents are. I want you to just think about that. You know who else did that? The fucking Nazis did that. Every dictatorship that didn't give a shit about its... What do you think's going on in Venezuela right now? Aren't you lucky? The biggest shit that you got to worry about is getting a fucking ticket, right? That's me. You okay? Yeah, it's pretty intense stuff, right?
There you go. There's your professor of psychology.
That sounds like a psychology course to me.
Exactly, a psychology course in brainwashing. This guy should be kicked out of that university.
Oh, I bet you that
he's going to get promoted.
Half the professors that he or she is a shit, I think.
And Christine follows up, hey, what about the children? I'm turning 27 this year, and this kind of shit that is brainwashing the youth of America, not just the media, but the liberal colleges that feel the need to state their political opinion and embed it into young developmental minds. Yeah, it's too late. Because that's exactly the kind of education AOC got.
Yeah, she went to Boston. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you heard about that. She went to Boston University. Yes. Well, I'm going to stick with, for just a second then. I will stick with disappointing professors in, this is a professor of neuroscience, who I was very excited about, and this is actually a good moment in the show to play this clip. This is Sam Harris. Do you ever listen to the Sam Harris, that's his podcast? Have you ever listened to it?
I don't think I've ever listened to it.
Yeah. Well, it's okay. I mean, a lot of people like it. He's pretty level-headed in general. But he's a neuroscientist, and he kind of talks a bit like a scientist. And he's done something different. He is changing the model that he makes money with this podcast. It's a very, very popular podcast. And he comes so close to explaining and seeing our very own value for value model. In fact, a lot of people tweeted me a link and said, look at this. It's him, Sam Harris. He's talking about the value for value model. The thing is, he not only does he miss it, he acts like, I would say, your typical scientific professor and forgets to ask questions, which is the basis of science. And he just takes old science for granted, his own observations for granted, and is therefore, in my mind, a very disappointing neuroscientist, even though he comes pretty close. But maybe we can set him straight. This is Sam Harris on his new model on the Joe Rogan show.
I mean, it's very interesting psychologically because I've created this network of support for my podcast, but I see people do calculations that they would never do in a more transactional space if they were just, let's say, buying my next book, right? So, like, for me, offering a free podcast and then saying, if you find this valuable, you can support it, right?
See how close he's getting.
That, from the side of being a creator of that content, it feels like the most transparent interaction possible, because a person can listen for free for as long as they want to just discover how valuable it is, and then they can support it to the degree that they find it valuable. Whereas if I'm selling you a book, you can't even read the book before you buy it, right? You have to make the decision to buy it, and I'm trying to convince you to buy it because it took me all this time to write it, and it's transactional.
He's come very close to an argument you've made, John. Hang in there. He's getting there.
But with a podcast, people make calculations that they would never make when they're just figuring out whether they want to buy something. It's and it's really along the lines of what you just described. People will say, well, how much does a podcast cost to produce? Right? Like if I knew what you were spending the money on and what it cost you to do this podcast, well, then I would support you, right? But they're never saying, how much does it cost to write a book? And if I knew what you were going to spend the money on once I bought this book, then I would know whether or not I wanted to buy it. You either want the book or you don't.
See, he's made a classic mistake here. He is mind reading people and thinking, because I don't think he actually asked anyone, said, he's saying that when you ask people to donate to support the work, that they calculate, what does that microphone cost him? That's you shouldn't give him too much. This is very, very short-sighted thinking.
Right. So the problem with the support model, and this is the problem with Patreon and everything else, is that it engages the sort of the philanthropy, charity side of the brain, right? And people are worried about what you're going to do and how much it all costs. Like, how much does this mic cost, right? Like that's right. A question that someone is asking.
This is a brain scientist telling us exactly the opposite of how the tens of hundreds of people who listen to this podcast think, because we've also asked them something. We say, hey, don't just support us out of philanthropy or look at us poor saps. No. And he had it in his grasp, and he forgot to ask the question, what is this worth to you? What is the time you spent on this? What was the value of that? Can you put that into a number? Most people can, Mr. Brain Scientist.
When they're donating.
Yeah, when they're donating. And the problem there is they're not understanding, just the opportunity cost. Like, I have to decide how to spend my time. Am I going to spend 90% of my time on a podcast?
Well, VC?
Huh?
Yeah, the opportunity costs. Nobody even considers that term. That's a venture capital Silicon Valley bullcrap term.
Exactly.
You just used to buffalo somebody.
Yeah, well, that's what he's doing.
If so, that closes the door to virtually everything else I can do, right? So it has to become a viable business. And so, I mean, I've recognized now that I'm, to some degree going against the grain of human psychology in asking for support. And now I feel like I'm going to ask much less. I mean, I'm going to tell people what the business model is and remind them of it. But I'm going to go more and more in the direction of putting stuff behind a paywall. And if people want it, then they can support. And so it's sort of Netflix. The ultimate version of it would be if it were Netflix that would also let you get it for free if you really couldn't afford it.
Okay. We need to set Sam Harris straight on this.
Oh, he's never going to listen.
No, well, let's just make everyone else who supports our show.
I can always kind of tell who the kind of people that would listen to our approach and take it seriously and those who wouldn't. And someone who what I just heard, him overthinking it and then falling back on human brain psychology, which is, I'd like to have him explain to me how a lot of these systems work, especially in the United States, where there's a generosity that's built into the public, and churches benefit from it. PBS has been on before recently, has always been just supported by the public. At all those shows, I mean, nobody's, they ask you for specific amounts, but you could make that a variable and it wouldn't make any difference. I think we've done a very good job making it a variable and let people pick their own damn number because they have some famous number they like or their lucky number. Who cares? But this guy's already outthought himself, so he's not open to any help.
Well, Sam, should someone send this to you through noagendaplayer.com, which we don't promote enough, because you can send a link to an exact spot in the show. Roll it back a little bit, Sam. Ask people, what was this worth to you? And thank them. People like that. This is where brain science and broadcasting separate. You need to come into the fold on how this operates. People really do value what you do. And they will show you that value if you have the balls to ask for it. And that can be scary. I think maybe it's just fear. It's probably is fear.
Brain science does come into play when it comes to being afraid to ask. This is like the myth that, I've never understood this myth because it's never applied to me, which is that men never ask for directions.
Right.
If I take a wrong turn, I'm looking for a gas station. I'm going in there and asking for directions immediately. I do not like wasting my time driving around and around and around looking for a freeway entrance.
Yeah, but you are a Renaissance man.
No, I'm just I don't feel like driving around and around just because I think I know where I am when I don't. Nowadays, of course, is lessened by the navigators on the phones, but still.
I thought you had given that up, like me. I thought you were just looking at the map.
No,
and then
I'm just saying in general, it's lessened by the phones for the men who don't like to ask for directions, but they're asking for directions from their phone.
Anyway, I hope Sam Harris adjusts his course. I think our model is very valid for him. I think he'll find it very successful, and he'll be very pleased with the outcome because it kind of works out to, people contributing in multiple ways to your show, or however many
brings the
show
show
he has.
closer to the.
That really makes the community. All right, I've given away too much. They should hire us for this stuff. With that.
Yeah, they should. There you go.
I'd like
There's
to
our money.
Thank you. There's our
advice. Forget it.
There's our exit, everybody. You want to make money with your podcast? Hire us. With that, I'd like to thank you for your courage to say in the morning to you, to the man who put the C in the Curry and Dvorak Consulting Group, John C. Dvorak.
In the morning to you, Mr. Adam Curry. In the morning, all the ships at sea and the boots on the ground and the feet in the air and the subs in the water and the dames in the day and the nights out there.
And in the morning to the troll room, noagendastream.com, where you can listen along with the show, chat with the trolls, and just throw out one-liners, be sarcastic, sometimes help us. It's always appreciated. noagendastream.com. And in the morning to Thijs Brouwers, who has a name we haven't heard in a while, as our in credits for the album art. Thijs, who had a string of picks several years ago, I think.
Oh, yeah, he was on a roll, and then he just bailed. It
happens. Yeah, it happened. He maybe got busy.
Overboard.
And he made a great piece of art for us. That was for our big 11/11 show, and it was Hillary, Donald, and Alexandria all holding up big foam fingers with number 1, 4 of them in total, made 11/11. And it was just a great piece. And we really appreciate it. And welcome back, Thijs. Good to know that you're still on board. That's noagendaartgenerator.com, where you can always find all of the art that our producers, as they're part of the Value for Value network and system, contribute to the show. Thanks again, everybody.
All right. We have a few people to thank, starting with Rogue. Sir Rogue, I found his email. Black Knight and Baron of the Palouse.
Oh, this is not on my list.
It's right at the top.
No,
It says Spokane, Washington, 11111.11.
Oh, it has a different name. Okay. Sir Rogue.
Then there's some information in here that you're going to need to write down, I'm sorry to say.
Mm-hmm.
And she starts off, I blame Adam.
Of course.
About 3 years ago, he made an offhand comment about always noticing the 11.11 time on the clock. My entire life, I thought I was the only one. I decided right then and there to save up my pennies and donate that amount once the show rolled around. With this donation, I attained the illustrious rank of Viscount. You have to put him on the list for title change.
Okay, so it's Sir... What is his full...
It's Rogue, Black Knight, and Baron of the Palouse and Silver Mountain.
Hold on.
Rogue.
Hold on. I'm still getting everything. I'm not... It takes a second.
I can repeat myself.
Okay. Again, this is Sir Rogue.
Black Knight and Baron of the Palouse and Silver Mountain.
Of the Palouse and Silver Mountain. Yes, I know it well. Yeah.
What do you mean you know it well?
Just keep going.
Rogue, Viscount of the Palouse and Silver Mountain.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. For my title change, I'd like the titles are a change. He likes the titles are a changing jingle, if you can do that.
Got it.
And in honor of International Scotch Day, I request a one-time addition to the round table of the Isle of Jura single malt whiskey and French onion soup.
Now, here's the problem. He's not being knighted. He gets a title change, and we have no other knights today. So I can put it in.
So that's out.
Well, I can keep it on the table for the next show if we're lucky.
Please, maybe there's I don't know. Please give a douchebag call out to Tall Paul.
Okay. Hello, Tall Paul. Bend over. It's coming your way.
Douchebag. I'm a Viscount. He's not even a knight. Oh, the horror. NJ, no jingles, but please give me a special SUV Redo Goat Karma. Or SUV Redo Goat Karma. As I have recently embarked on a diesel engine swap in a 30-year-old Isuzu.
Okay.
And fear that I will need all the positive thoughts I can muster.
Okay.
Why is anyone doing this?
I don't know. Is anything else? Anything else, or to give him this special redo karma? Nice. With a goat.
You've got karma.
Goat power, baby.
That's good. He drops the engine on his foot. That's the noise.
Ouch.
All right. Whitey the Coder, $500 comes in number 2 man. I've been a listener since day one. It's a long overdue first-time donation. Thank you, Adam, for the Amsterdam No Agenda tip. John, I'm a big fan. No jingle. Sincerely, Whitey the Coder, formerly a dude named Ben living in Southern California.
All right.
P.S. It's Whitey, not Whitney. Like Whitey from Leave It to Beaver. Kill Whitey. You get the point.
Yeah, we got you. All right, Whitey the Coder. Hey, learn the code. Very nice. Thank you very much, Whitey the Coder. You know, rarely do we see a $500 amount. It's just not an amount that we see. That's like
weird. It's one of those numbers. You're right.
It's like a PBS.
That's 500 for years.
That's like a real nonprofit amount. You know, we have like 333, all kinds of weird numbers. That's cool. Thank you very much, Whitey the Coder.
Whitey.
Thank you for your service.
Thanks, Whitey.
And
give
courage.
him a de-douching. He needs a de-douching.
Absolutely.
You've been de-douched.
Gregory Pierce in Cockeysville, Maryland. 4/20/42. For my 42nd birthday, I decided to stop being a douchebag so I can have a de-douching.
You bet.
You've been de-douched.
Mr. Pierce, you're on the birthday list for Saturday, 2/16. Can I get a Don't Eat Me AOC, Whooping the Constitution, and JCD's Mac and Cheese?
The mac and cheese. Got that.
Please don't eat me, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Get out there! Whooping the Constitution!
You slaves can get used to mac and cheese. Cheap macaroni and cheap cheddar melted together.
Mac and cheese.
You've got karma.
I skipped over. Mr. E. 363. Please refer to me as Mr. E. A long overdue donation. De-douche me, please.
Mm-hmm.
You've been de-douched.
Number 363 is 11 squared times 3. Pledging my allegiance to my, what does this say? Liege Saray, the gray-haired geek of Silicon Valley.
I don't know.
Respect and karma, please.
RESPICT.
You've got karma.
Nailed it.
Yeah, you did. Anonymous. By the way, people should every once in a while just send Adam kudos for the fact that he can do half of this.
Especially now that we know where my developmental problems came from.
Yeah, he's stoned. Hey, man. If I push this button, this will do it.
That's right, man. If I push
Anonymous,
this, I push the button, man.
33353. Anonymous. Aussie donation. First-time donor for the entertainment value of the No Agenda show. I would say de-douching is a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
You've been de-douched.
A lot of first-timers today, people.
Yes.
Take note. House selling karma and a de-douching, we just gave you that. Looking for an easy house sale, hence the ease donation from the anonymous Aussie.
There you go, man. Looking for it to be easy.
You've got karma.
Sir Joe, Delaware and Wilmington, 333.34.
Trying to get ahead of the pack.
Yeah, well, it's at the end of the pack in the executive producer arena. ITM, here's your cut of the job refer bonus I'm getting for helping a friend get into my company.
Oh.
I have to think the jobs karma was a factor, and I didn't even ask for it, just in case I used some karma not intended for me. Please play some makeup karma for anyone looking. Love and light, Sir Joe of Delaware.
Okay.
And then there's something, I don't know what he's talking
something
about.
Something in the Oh, by the way, I also got a box. Remember, was it Sir Milkman? Sent you all that cool stuff. I got the same thing.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
did you get the
duplicate box
thing?
The what?
The bomb making book?
Yeah, I got the bomb making book. I got the Illuminati card game. That's great to have that. That's a collectible right there. That's my favorite.
Think so.
Yeah,
I think that's probably the most collectible in the bunch.
Yeah, and I got a 3D modeled Cludio sign. Some other cool stuff.
I didn't get one of those.
Yeah, well, you don't have a Cludio, man. You got to name your studio. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
You can have a sign, bless this mess.
You've got karma.
We have an anonymous email, 23456. I may have that. Do not read my name. Do not read my name.
It says accompanying email to follow?
I got it right here.
Okay.
With this donation of 23456, I'm crossing the threshold into the knighting territory. Accounting. We do have a knight.
So it is a knight. All right. All right, knight.
In celebration of her birthday tomorrow, I would like to bequeath this honor, and he does have an accounting, so it counts. Smoking hot wife and best friend who listens regularly at home. She started listening when I told her about a segment John did several months back about the philosophical shifts in the modern education system. His report affirmed our beliefs in the importance of homeschooling, and the show has become an incidental part of the kids' curriculum.
Really? We are now curriculum?
Woo.
Which part? The rap lyrics?
The show has become an incidental. Incidental means just only partially.
Oh, okay.
Part of this kids' curriculum ever since. Okay, kids. You got 3 hours to yourself. I want you to listen to the show.
and then there will be a test.
She would like to be known as Dame Drea. Dame Drea, Mad Dame of the Mid Valley.
So, does she have a real name, or just anonymous hot girlfriend becomes Dame Drea, Mad Dame of the Mid Valley?
Wife.
Oh, his wife, smoking hot wife. Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
No names, because heaven forbid. And can you add paprikas?
Oh God.
Paprikash.
Okay.
Paprikash.
Paprikas.
And hot toddies.
And
a meal at the round table.
Now, could you do me a favor, since I didn't expect us to have any nights? What was the other thing you wanted on our first guy wanted on the Sir Rogue? What did he want on I'm sorry to do this to you.
No, I thought you were going to put it on.
Well, I lied.
Oh, you lied.
I did.
Oh my God.
I did a heels high Harris.
Ready?
Yeah.
Isle of Jura single malt whiskey.
Yeah.
And French onion soup.
A beautiful combo.
Which actually probably would taste pretty good together.
Oh, gratin. So, Isle of Jura single malt whiskey and French onion soup and paprikas and hot toddies. Man, I can't wait for this table.
Paprikash.
Paprikash. Oh.
Yeah, paprikash.
Paprikash and hot toddies. All right, that's good.
Lastly, can we get an Obama You Might Die, followed by, I could have given you this earlier, it's my fault, followed by a little girl yay and a jobs karma. Luckily, it's not too complicated. I'll be heading home from the AFG, this spring.
Afghanistan. AFG is military speak for Afghanistan.
That's why he wants to be all anonymous. And we'll be starting an exciting new phase in our lives. Thanks for all you do.
All right. And was Obama yay and jobs karma?
No. Obama, You Might Die.
Yeah.
Followed by Little Girl, Yay, and Jobs Karma.
That's exactly what I said.
You might die.
Yay! Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
There we go.
Mark Lynn L. I think it's Cocker, something. I can't tell it. Alcocher in Houston, Texas.
Alcocher?
Maybe.
Mark Lynn.
Houston, Texas, 22719. I looked. It came in as a check from one of the banks, and then I looked for some email. I couldn't find anything.
Oh, that's too bad.
Well, he can always send us a note if he's.
Yeah, we're here. We're here.
Sir Tim of the Tunnels in Waipahu, Hawaii, 222.22. It would seem I have missed the boat on the festivities of show 1111. but please accept these bags of 11s as pendants.
He's got a bag of 11s. Nice.
The shows have been spectacular of late, and I just want to take a moment and comment about the audio quality, if I may. Adam, the No Agenda Show's audio is the standard by which I measure the other podcasts I listen to, and I often find myself muttering, Adam needs to put on a podcasting clinic, as I cringe when I hear some of the other programs and what they sound like. They're recording from the bottom of the sea. Also, John, I think your squeaking chair is hilarious.
Oh.
Never change. Can I get some vintage seat, man, and a shot of goat karma? Keep up the goat's work.
He lost all credibility. I'm like, oh, yeah, he likes what I'm doing, and then he likes your squeaky chair. Thank you very much, Sir Tim of the Tunnels. I love your sack of 11s.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
You've got karma.
We're a nutty bunch over here at the No Agenda Show.
A nutty bunch day. This is actually Valentine's Day. Hello.
Hello, Valentine's.
Kate Nayert. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but she's in the Michigan area, in Ferndale, as a matter of fact, 21419. I'm making this donation in honor of my wonderful husband, Christopher, to go toward his knighthood. We have been together for almost a decade. Married for 6 years, I couldn't imagine my life without him. He's been a long-time avid listener and loves the show. Thank you for keeping our eyes open to the nonsense being fed to us on a daily basis. It's gotten to the point where we don't even watch any kind of news coverage at all because it's pretty much all garbage. Keep up the Yes, indeed. Keep up the good work. Happy Valentine's Day to you both, and happy 38th wedding anniversary to my parents.
Oh.
Yeah.
And
nice.
they never had a fight.
I'd like to request travel karma for Chris as he prepares to go to Germany on business. Please play the following jingles. Would you look at that juice? Get out of my vagina, and Obama, no, no, no. From the hipsterest town in Michigan, Katie.
Thank you, Katie. Happy to oblige. And congratulations to your parents. That's great.
Oh, my gosh. Can you see that juice?
Get out of Get out of Get out of my vagina. Get out of Get out of Get out of my vagina.
No.
You've got karma.
We got jingles, man.
We got jingles. We like no others. I would suggest that we play the intro song to this next donor.
Nussbaum! Like that?
Oh, God.
Nussbaum is here, ladies and gentlemen. Thomas Nussbaum.
He comes in with, I just did go to his email. He comes in with 214-19, which is the fabulous. But I'm going to stop now.
Okay.
So this happens every Valentine's Day. We put up this 214 date of February 14th and the year.
And everyone ignores it.
We've done it on 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018. So this year's 214-19. And we asked people to call out their love or whatever for the Valentine's Day. The Valentine's Day call out. We do it every year. And every year we get 2 people who feel obliged to call one of their partners a happy Valentine's Day. It's the biggest flop on a year-to-year basis ever.
It's because we don't have no chocolate.
I guess so. Or we don't have the strawberries. Oh, my God.
Thank you.
Yep. Thomas Nussbaum in Virginia Beach, he says to my No Agenda friends of him, that's who he's donating. He's giving the Valentine's to everybody, so that's good. But on his note, he says, thanks to you and JCD, much love. Planning to see you on March 2nd in Austin Beer Works.
Yes.
So Nussbaum's going to be there.
Yes, he is.
The only jingle I can think of is JCD doing the numbers.
Yes.
She will know who it's for. Oh,
it's code, man. It's code. It's code. It's code. It's code.
And by now, when somebody's supposed to yell bingo at the end. That's this is the one with you already
162-259-276-829-213-361-578-010-288-127.
Bingo! You've got karma.
Hey, man. Whatever he needs. He's royalty.
Eric Bird in Baltimore, Maryland, 11019. Jingle request. He starts at the beginning. This is actually not a bad idea to start the jingle request at the beginning of the note.
Yes.
Even though with these, Adam reads the notes, you can look at the end. But he wants little girl, build a wall.
Yeah.
Build a wall. No, the chicken dance version, and JCD's yeah, little girl, yay. I don't know what my yeah is, but I will play it. Anyway, in order to properly celebrate the birth of our new human resource on 2/10/19, I thought my first AEP level donation was in order. I had signed up for an 11/11 subscription on Saturday, just hours before driving my wife to the hospital where she gave birth to a healthy and happy baby boy. However, when we arrived home from the hospital Tuesday, I was greeted with the water damage caused by ongoing home renovations.
Oh, no.
A word to the wise. When it comes to your plumbing, don't get to it tomorrow. I would like to wish my wife a happy Valentine's Day. A family that listens to no agenda together stays together.
Agreed.
I believe that to be true.
I agree.
Please send us some new human resource karma with a dash of home renovation karma for good measure.
Right.
Thanks for everything y'all do. Sanity is truly priceless in a world ruled by outrage culture.
Build a wall.
This is a rowdy crowd. Come on, guys. You're in my house. Hold on a second. No. Hey. Okay, you know what? Shame on you. You shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
No. You've got karma.
We got jingles.
Tony of the South Jersey in Sicklerville, New Jersey, $200. We get into the end here. John and Adam, Sir Tony of South Jersey. I'm a dude named Ben, just accepting a new position in a consulting gig, looking for job karma on this new venture. Can you play John Huntsman speaking Chinese and in the morning jingle in Chinese? Thanks for keeping me sane.
And any karma or just...
Yeah, he wants some job karma in this new venture.
Gotcha.
他不太了解这个情形。
Jobs, and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Squall just hit. Sir Steve in Ewing, New Jersey, $200. John and Adam. It's been a rough year. Another guy that puts in the
Yes,
clips
I saw it.
Maybe Eric's doing that. It's possible.
Oh, that's possible.
It's been a rough few years. 3 years ago, I lost my mom to liver cancer. 6 months after that, my dog died from stomach cancer. 2 months ago, I lost my job as a programmer. Yee. No agenda in your analysis has been one constant over these trying years. That has kept me sane and helped me to retain a piece of my humanity. I can not thank you to enough. Suffice it to say, over the past few years, I withdrew a bit socially, but now I'm back and ready to love and be loved again. Since the jobs karma I asked for 2 months ago worked like a champ.
Oh.
Thanks. Can I please have some following clips in the relationship karma? And then he's got him. Charlie Rose, tell me about the sexuality. It's in your DNA. Can you see the juice? That's an interesting. We have not heard "See the Juice" for 2 years.
No, we just played it like 3 minutes ago.
Yeah, and now it's being
Yeah,
this is again
it's twice
example
of random number
random
theory.
numbers.
Random number theory.
Please tell the sexuality. Shout outs to DJ Fuji, and thank you both for your courage. Sir Steve from formerly of West Orange.
Yeah, Sir Steve from Ewing. All right, Sir Steve. Of course we can do that for you.
Tell me about this sexuality. It's in your DNA.
Oh my gosh! Can you see that juice?
You've got karma.
So childish. I love it.
That's a good combo.
That's a great combo.
I do have a letter to read from one of our knights, Sir.
Yes, I saw this. Good.
Sir Alexander of the Northern Territories, are one of our 2 Russian knights.
Oh, yes.
He says, gents, I beg your pardon. Almost 2 years at tug of war with my shareholders concluded not in my favor, and I've received notice of dismissal today. I will try to maintain my subscription, which brought me to knighthood over the span of 10 years as long as I can. I must say that current job market in Russia, yes, I am one of the 2 infamous Russian knights, is horrible, to say the least. I hereby request jobs karma to ease my suffering.
Yeah, you bet. We all actually, the title of his email is like, wasn't it like Knight in Peril or something?
Knight in Distress.
Knight in Distress. Yes, we hear your distress. All. Of course we will give that to you. And so here we go. Said jobs. Boom.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
We do like to break for our knights.
And so that's our associate executive producer for show 1112. I want to thank each and every one of them for supporting the show, even though we didn't get any Valentine's Day donations except for 2 of you. Yeah. But we thank everyone for helping us get this show going. And I don't know what to do about our Sir Rogue in terms of he should be in the 1111 club.
Yeah. Well, we'll give him that also with one of our new hats.
Oh, the new invisible hat.
He gets a new invisible. Hold on, where's the hat? We need a sound for the hat. We can give someone a hat. I'll have to work on it.
All right, so we'll just put him on the club. We'll put him on show.
Yeah, of course.
But we won't put him on the 1112 show. We'll just put it on there.
Yeah, we'll put it on there as an 1111 club member, of course. Thank you to our executive producers and associate executive producers. Thank you for believing in the value for value concept. It makes it all work. We're very proud of it. We're actually smarter than real brain scientists with this, it turns out. And you are part of that as well. It's your show, after all. You're all producers, and these are just the execs and associate execs. We'll be thanking more in our second donation segment and another show for you on Sunday. Remember us at Dvorak.org/NA. Now, you really have some stuff to go out there and tell everybody about. Propagate.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Order. Shut up, slave.
Hey, I was a little Bitcoin celebrity yesterday. I don't know if you caught that. I was a Bitcoin celeb.
How?
Well, I got up in the morning. I'm reading as I do through the emails and everything. And this guy, Dennis, what's Dennis's last name? Dennis is kind of my Bitcoin guru. He's a Dutch guy. Dennis, I forget his last name. And so Dennis is always DMing me stuff. And, he's been saying, hey, some guys are doing some stuff with Bitcoin and ham radio. And so then he tagged me in something. I see this going back and forth, and this one guy in Michigan who is an actual Bitcoin guru who was like, oh, I got this FS8 call, which is the new protocol for digital, that all the kids are doing it on the digital ham radios. And I want to send someone some Bitcoin. And so I'm like, oh, give me 30 minutes. Let me, so I throw the wire over the balcony, bring out the trusty KX2. I fire up JS8 call, and lo and behold, I get, it was like 70 cents in Bitcoin transferred through ham radio. And that was seen as something pretty cool.
Huh. Yeah. You're a pioneer once again.
Once again, that's right.
You get a second Marconi Award.
There's this, and I was talking with Tina about it this morning. I said, how few people in the world, what is the number of people who understand and know about Bitcoin and are licensed to do ham radio? This is not going to be a big payment channel, I'm afraid. But it was cool.
70 cents could be worth $250,000 if you keep it long enough.
Well, now I have to pass the torch, so now I got to find some other professional ham radio amateur so I can send this 70 cents in Bitcoin onto the next person. This is kind of, it's very interesting.
Pass along?
It's pass the torch. This is new with money. People are
PTT?
If viral is money is going viral. People are passing, PTT, passing the torch. And it's little amounts. I'll add something to it. I'll make it $1, which of course will be 10 million in a couple of years. Well, I'll make it $1 and then I'll pass it on to someone else. And so that's how these Bitcoins will go around the globe on ham radio. Anyway, it was fun to be.
That's even legal.
I love people like, what? What's this MTV guy doing? What? People have no idea what I do. What? I thought that guy was a fucking idiot. Yeah. Yeah, woohoo! That's me, brothers and sisters. Okay. And, well, hilarious up in your neck of the woods. And we were on this train, so to speak, in 2011. In fact, we were talking about this one thing so much that we even got a jingle of it.
All aboard, train's good, plane's bad. Woo-hoo!
Now, before I hand over the mic to my man JCD to tell us the latest on it, I do want to go back in time to 2011. This is the train that would go from San Francisco to Los Angeles. I was actually evicted from my apartment at the time under eminent domain. It didn't hurt, don't worry. Because this is where the train ultimately would terminate, and they were getting ahead of the game.
There's a nice bar across the street from you, very famous old place, Brick.
Took it down, right on the corner, actually, right on the corner.
Yeah, and they just leveled it.
Took it down. And this was supposed to be, this was really, in a way, Obama's Green New Deal. And it was all about high-speed rail, and
I want to. Just we're going to go down memory lane about this. I should have picked up some old clips because this was during one era, like about a 2-year period during the Obama administration. Everybody was talking high-speed rail, and they were talking, oh yeah, we can go from New York to Los Angeles, and then they calculated that if you're doing 500 miles an hour, you can get there pretty quickly, but assuming you never stopped.
Right.
I mean, the whole thing was there were high-speed rail initiatives all over the country. Some of them very short. I mean, like 10 miles.
But John, it was, and this is just 8 years ago. It was like the Green New Deal. Here's just 25 seconds of the president talking about it at the time.
Reduces destructive emissions and creates jobs. What we're talking about is a vision for high-speed rail in America. Imagine boarding a train in the center of a city. No racing to an airport and across a terminal, no delays, no sitting on the tarmac, no lost luggage, no taking off your shoes.
Ah, there it is. No taking off your shoes. Right away, TSA got in the action, started assaulting people on train platforms, if you remember.
Yeah, they had the Zephyr. What are they called? Not the Zephyr, but the Viper teams.
Viper teams. Oh, very good. Yeah, the Viper teams. Yeah, this whole thing, and we were just laughing about it, and I think what we surmised at the time was, or what I remember you saying, paraphrase, this is a scam because what happens is people already in the loop have purchased all the land or own all the land that'll be necessary on this, where the tracks will be. That'll get bought up by the government at very favorable prices and won't be under eminent domain. It's like, oh, it's all buddies. And it's going to be a boondoggle. And it was supposed to cost what, like 7 or 8 billion, I think, at the time.
Well, the one from San Francisco to L.A. was supposed to be something like that. Then they ballooned to 30 and then 40 billion or so.
And now it's at 100.
It's just ridiculous. It wasn't going to work, and the scam was pretty much identified early on, and then it got stalled by one thing or another. And so the whole thing in California in particular was just a joke, even though I was arguing with people. I remember I was at Mevio at the time in the little creatives area. And we had all these, these kids are all millennials. And I brought it up. I said, hey, this bull crap. Oh, no, man, it's going to be great. And I said, this bull crap. No, who amongst you is going to take a high-speed train to Los Angeles that you wouldn't take an airplane? We wouldn't go down, jump on the Southwest and just fly there in less than an hour, about an hour.
Right.
Oh, no, I would. Every one of them. I would. They wouldn't. That's the joke of it. Nobody wants this. Nobody's taking the train anywhere. I mean, I've been on the Zephyr up to Sacramento, which is a nice ride. And it's about, it's kind of break even with driving up there, but it's more relaxing. And the train's half empty.
And everyone had these dreams of some combination of the great trains in Europe and
it's all that Europe thing.
And the bullet train
like
speed.
Europe.
Yeah, we should be like, and the bullet train speed of Japan. And this was the dream, and it was a big deal. And this was one of the president's signature doohickeys. And we laughed and we laughed and we laughed.
We laughed and we got condemned for it.
Yeah.
But we laughed anyway because we don't care. And there's nobody that's going to take us off the air because we thought high-speed rail was a huge scam. And the other element of it was laying down these tracks is just going to benefit Burlington Northern, Warren Buffett, and all these other guys who already own train systems. And they get to use those tracks. The tracks aren't just for high-speed rail.
Oh, yeah, I totally forgot that angle of it. We were looking at who was going to benefit, and it was clearly Burlington Northern.
Yeah.
Who use, and there were barely any passenger trains are running from time to time just because it's all filled up with freight. Anyway, scam.
And freight apparently has a priority over passengers.
Well, yeah. Passengers.
Right. So here's the announcement. They finally, Governor Gavin Newsom did this early in his administration rather than late because he doesn't want it to be controversial because people will forget about this in 6 months. But here's his HS Rail report. California won.
But let's be real. The current project, as planned, would cost too much and respectfully take too long. There's been too little oversight and not enough transparency. Right now, there simply isn't a path to get from Sacramento to San Diego, let alone from San Francisco to L.A. I wish there were. However, we do have the capacity to complete a high-speed rail link between Merced and Bakersfield. Now, I know some critics are going to say, well, that's a train to nowhere. But I think that's wrong, and I think that's offensive.
Wait a minute. There is something in Bakersfield, and a lot of people need to go there. There's a jail. What? There's a jail.
Oh, jail.
A huge penitentiary. And a lot of people need to go to that jail. And it's in between L.A. and San Francisco. It's horrible to have to drive there.
Well, he thinks it's offensive if you criticize the...
Yeah, because it's mainly black people who are using the train to go to jail. That's why.
Well,
that's why he's saying
offensive.
It. Yeah, it is.
Put on the high-speed rail. So, so he's pulled the plug on the whole thing. Now, the irony to this is, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but if I'm not mistaken, he's the one when he was mayor of San Francisco.
Yeah.
And he was also in the Brown administration, and Brown was pushing high-speed rail a lot.
Yes.
He was in there not saying anything. But the building of the thing that got you kicked out, the transportation center in San Francisco, this little background. There used to be a bus terminal in San Francisco, and it was a bus terminal.
Right.
All the buses from the East Bay and from Marin, all these buses would come into this terminal, drop people off. This thing was, it wasn't like, the 40s when it probably was a lot of people taking buses. It's just kind of like commuters, and it's only busy really in the morning and in the afternoon when people go home. And it was dingy, and it was kind of actually picturesque as kind of a crap hole. And it had old benches, and they had these seats that were obviously built for the days when the Greyhound bus was a big deal. And so they decided that, no, we're going to tear down this bus terminal that's hardly used.
Well, it was used by a lot of homeless people.
Yeah, not as there'd be more there now than there were then.
Yeah.
But so they tear down this functional bus terminal that had the right ins and outs of the freeway and everything else. They tear down the functional bus terminal and put up a multi-billion-dollar bus terminal, but it's not going to be a bus terminal. No, we're not rebuilding a bus terminal that hardly anyone uses. We're going to make it the centerpiece for the high-speed rail.
Woohoo!
The third deck down below, you go down there and you get on the high-speed rail. And, well, now there's no high-speed rail. So what is this boondoggle of a bus terminal doing in San Francisco, which is already falling apart?
Yeah. Well, it's obvious. Gosh, homeless shelter.
Well,
guaranteed.
It's going to end up.
Guaranteed.
Well, the whole thing's a fiasco. But let's play part 2.
And I think that's offensive.
Wow. This is, of course, going to be highly controversial. This began decades ago. Governor Brown had really championed this high-speed rail, but it's taken so long, so many political battles, and now it's come down to this.
I mean, let's not forget that Governor Newsom was lieutenant governor when these plans were being executed. And at the time, it was supposed to be $77 billion. More recently, there have been some estimates it could be $100 billion. There's a question about whether there's going to have to be money paid back to the federal government that's already been spent on this. Right. We'll see about that.
Wow, something happened, man. somewhere someone went, we got to pull the plug on this. This bad mojo.
Well, according to one of our listeners or producers that I met in Sacramento, who is a trained consultant, who was supposed to get us both on some train to some cool ride, and I never heard from him again. But he said that he says the whole thing, they wouldn't take any of the normal routes. All the route through the Altamont Pass would be the fastest way to get to the 5 corridor. And then
no, they had to go through someone's land that they would buy for a couple billion.
They had to go this way and that way so they could go into all the different state assemblymen, all Democrats, and state senators. They all had plots of land that they were going to have to set up to sell to the High-Speed Rail Authority. And I think something was coming down where they were going to get busted for corruption. And I think Newsom just pulled the plug, saving these guys
everybody's ass.
Even though they're going to lose a little on the land purchases.
Right. Save their ass, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So, anyway, so that's the end of that. And so there you go. That's how it ends up. Just a scam to the highest degree. Flop. Yeah. Flop.
I would say the LGBTQIAPPK community is my beat. It started very early on, tracking what is going. It's part of social justice movements as well, and you have Black Lives Matter in there. But when you really look at the acronym, which over the course of, how many years? When did we first start hearing whenever they added the T, it was BLG, or was it? No, it was GBL or GLB.
Yeah, no, it was GBLT.
No, it was first it was GLB.
GLB.
And then the lesbians took over and they made it LGB. Which
still irks a few of the men.
I was just talking, I had lunch with here we go. I was having lunch with my friend who happens to be gay. And we discussed this very thing. And he said, hey, when did we lose out to the lesbians? I'm like, hey. Easy does it, Tiger. So then when they added the T, we started laughing like, oh, this is great. And then, it essentially became lesbian, gay, bisexual, bicurious, transgendered, queer, questioning, intersex, asexual, allied, pansexual, and kink. So it's LGBTQIAAPK, although the United Nations only recognizes the Q and not the K. Who knows? But finally, there was someone who was willing to admit and has suffered for this. This is, what is her name? Her name is Julia Becken, and she used to be in the Baltimore LGBT committee, the city committee for LGBT issues. And she said, hey, we have a little problem here, and we've seen this previously in big marches or in protest marches, where the L in the LGBTQ, etc., the lesbians don't really like the transgenders showing up in their category because, they have an issue with it, and she's going to explain in this clip. But for sure, I've been looking for someone to just say, why do you put us all in the damn community? It's rude. It's, to me, personally, it's like, L and the G, they don't get along very well. I don't know if either of them like the T. The B's, God knows. And I've always said this is a fallacy and it's abusive towards the LGBTQ, etc. community. You shouldn't be lumped in like that. Well, she's got kicked off this committee and she went on Fox News to talk about it.
Well, when we get down to it, women and girls all share a biological reality. We are all female. But if any male person can call himself a woman or legally identify as female, then predatory men will do so in order to gain access to women's single-sex spaces, and this puts every woman and girl at risk. And this is already happening in many states. In many states, men can legally identify themselves as female and gain access to women's single-sex spaces, and sports is just one institution where men are taking titles, scholarships, and this is a problem. Women have been speaking out about this for decades, but we have been effectively silenced. Many women, like myself, have been pushed out of spaces that we built, spaces that are intended to include us, simply because we acknowledge biological reality. I would like to make a distinction here. The letters in the acronym share not much. The L, G, and B are based on sexualities. They're based on sex, biological realities.
Yes.
But the T is based on gender identity, which is not based in biological reality. In fact, I would argue that it's opposed to biological reality. The LGB is very different from the T, and I don't think it's fair to lump us all into the same acronym.
Thank you. Finally. And this is what I hadn't realized. LGB is sexuality. Everything else after that is all, gender identity, and it's completely separate from the LGB. And I, of course, not being LGB or T, it's like, wow, okay, now it makes sense. Finally, someone who said it.
She's toast.
Yeah, she's very toast. Brave.
Yeah, well, these things come out once in a while.
Now, make sure that gets put into the homeschooling curriculum. Kids, something
should be. So I got to get a little Venezuelan report here from Democracy Now! We're probably going to get some report from one of our economic hitmen. I finally got a hold of him, who's floating around here and there everywhere.
How's he doing?
It looks like he's doing okay.
Yeah.
And he says he's got to tell us something about Venezuela, which I think he'll have some insights. Because right now we're seeing the two. We're starting to separate. We're starting to see evidence that there is a strong contingent that does support Maduro, peasants and farmers, and some middle class, but not a lot. And then the whole middle class and upper class does not support him. And there looks like it's bordering on a
revolution, civil war. Wow, this is not good.
But we don't know. And but we do know that Democracy Now! Takes a different. They take the pro-Maduro side of things because they're Castroites. And I have this clip because I did not know that the KKK
please.
KKK
What?
to Maduro.
No. Oh,
Yeah.
God. Oh, God.
The KKK runs the United States.
Okay, let me get this straight. Now, is this what Amy is going to tell me?
No, this is Maduro.
Oh, okay.
As the political crisis in Venezuela continues, tens of thousands of Venezuelans took to the streets Tuesday in dueling pro-government and pro-opposition protests. Opposition leader Juan Guaido addressed his supporters and announced a deadline for allowing aid shipments to enter the country.
Today we announce that February 23rd is the day for humanitarian aid to enter Venezuela. We stand by all sectors, delivery drivers, nurses, and medics, to get ourselves organized.
Military officers, who in large part have remained loyal to President Nicolas Maduro, have been blocking access to supplies at the Venezuela-Colombia border. Critics have blasted the U.S. for using aid as a political tool to undermine Maduro's presidency while garnering support for Guaido. The Red Cross and the United Nations warned the U.S. to not send aid to Venezuela without the approval of the sitting president. The UN said, quote, humanitarian action needs to be independent of political, military, or other objectives, unquote. On Monday, Guaido tweeted a picture of himself surrounded by pill bottles, saying some aid in the form of nutritional supplements made it into Venezuela, although it's unclear where they came from. In an interview with an Israeli newspaper on Tuesday, Guaido, who declared himself Venezuela's interim president last month, said he's in the process of restoring ties with Israel. Venezuela severed its relationship with Israel a decade ago under the leadership of Hugo Chavez, who instead developed links with Palestinians. Guaido also suggested he's considering opening the new Venezuelan embassy in Jerusalem, following in the footsteps of the United States, which last year drew international condemnation after it moved its embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, a city that Palestinians want as part of a future state. Meanwhile, President Maduro continues to call out the U.S. for its role in attempting to oust him from power. In an interview with the BBC Tuesday, Maduro said the U.S. is ruled by white supremacists.
It's a political war of the American empire, of the interests of the extreme right that today governs, of the Ku Klux Klan that rules over the White House to take over Venezuela.
He watches CNN. I got an idea. Let's do what those guys do. Call them white supremacists. It's the KKK guys. Let's do that.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Pompeo,
that's my favorite.
Pompeo was actually telegraphing what's next for Venezuela. It's not good. It's not good. I'm going to have to call Steve the Jew today, see if he knows anything about what's going on from military
we got to get a
intelligence.
little onto this because this is a big deal.
Well, here's Pompeo on Fox News, and he let something slip, which I think we all will know what it means.
Do you have concerns that Venezuela runs the risk of turning into a no man's land, where you have these bad actors, including some with links to Hezbollah, that could be more of a threat because they're in our hemisphere?
Yeah, Trish, I'm glad you brought that up. People don't recognize that Hezbollah has active cells. The Iranians are impacting the people of Venezuela and throughout South America. We have an obligation to take down that risk for America.
Okay, I'm going to play this clip again because this is a great piece of propaganda brought to you by Fox. They're slick. She leads him on with a prearranged question about Hezbollah. I had not heard anything about Hezbollah. Had you heard anything about this? It's like a meme, like Hezbollah's operating in Venezuela.
I have a clip with a thought about this, and the meme is in play.
Well, the meme... Oh, so do you think this was before... Well, let me play this first. I'll play it again. Listen to how she leads him on with the question, and then he says, "Oh, I'm so glad you asked that question," signaling, good girl.
Do you have concerns that Venezuela runs the risk of turning into a no man's land, where you have these bad actors, including some with links to Hezbollah, that could be more of a threat because they're in our hemisphere?
Yeah, Trish, I'm glad you brought that up. People don't recognize that Hezbollah has active cells. The Iranians are impacting the people of Venezuela and throughout South America. We have an obligation to take down that risk for America.
Well, so what that means is we're going in.
Yeah.
We got the obligation. And why? And by the way, why do we have the obligation to go in and get Hezbollah in Venezuela? Why? Do I have to ask Steve the Jew this question again too?
It's not about Venezuela.
What's it about then?
It's about Iran.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the clip I have, which is the something is up with Iran. This is NBC, and read between the lines of what's going on.
Andrea Mitchell in Warsaw, as the vice president leads the first Arab-Israeli summit largely aimed at pressuring Iran.
Some of our biggest allies are not sending top diplomats here. France, Germany, England.
We begin to work, not just among Arab nations, but Arab nations and Israel working together with the United States and our allies to isolate Iran economically and diplomatically.
But tonight, Israel's prime minister set off alarms, tweeting they were there to advance the common interest of war with Iran. Then, within the hour, taking out the word war and writing instead to advance the common interest of combating Iran. Adding to the tension, a New York Times report that the U.S. may be secretly sabotaging Iran's missiles and rockets, and an anti-Iran rally here by a group represented by the president's personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani.
You've got the Prime Minister of Israel using words like combat Iran or war against Iran, interchangeably almost. Right. You've got the president's personal lawyer here. Speaking out against Iran.
Totally unkidding.
Coincidental?
Totally, absolutely, and totally in line with what I've done for 11 years.
Iran's foreign minister has called this a desperate anti-Iran circus. Tomorrow, the vice president delivers a tough speech against Iran. Lester?
Wow. Wait a minute. This, to me, feels like the neocons have come up with a new strategy, new target.
Yeah, and this bullcrap about Venezuela?
Bullshit. Has nothing to do with it.
Bullshit, exactly.
Wes Clark 7.
What does Hezbollah care about Venezuela?
0. Here,
Yeah,
hold on.
Do, maybe.
John. Wes Clark 7. General Wesley Clark. What happened to him 2 weeks after 9/11?
So I came back to see him a few weeks later. And by that time, we were bombing in Afghanistan. I said, "Are we still going to war with Iraq?" And he said, "Oh, it's worse than that." He said, he reached over on his desk, he picked up a piece of paper, and he said, I just got this down from upstairs, meaning the Secretary of Defense's office today. And he said, this is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran.
That list is getting shorter.
Well, it's really the Iran thing or Iran, as we
learned to say,
which is more correct.
Iran.
So this looks like it's all being set up. In fact, that's one of the Hezbollah. That's why I'm glad you got that Hezbollah clip, because I didn't hear that. Hezbollah in
Venezuela, baby.
I mean, give me a break.
And Pompeo's. Oh yes, they have cells. Oh, I think there's
cells.
Oh wait,
like everything has to be cells.
There's a Hezbollah cell in Austin.
There's a Hezbollah cell, I think it was just like the 50s and the communist cells everywhere.
Well, like ISIS cells, Al-Qaeda cells. Where's Al-Qaeda? Come on, bitches. What happened to you guys?
So now forget them. We got to talk about Hezbollah. So Hezbollah is directly – so I expect a false flag of some sort that is going to trigger Trump to do something about Iran. And I think we're going to – the way it's shaping up, everyone's separating themselves from except the EU, who's like, well, we still got this deal, and I don't know, what are we going to do? And but something's up, and Iran is the target, and these guys had better come to the bargaining table real quick. And I don't think they're going to do it because they're a stubborn bunch of pricks.
Because it is these dicks, and Pompeo is in it.
Yeah.
I didn't really expect that.
Well,
maybe he's been hoodwinked. But they want war. And listen to Andrea Mitchell. Oh yes. Oh yes. War. War. Good. Took out war. Said combat, but we said war. We got to say war again. War, Iran. Those two words next to each other.
I saw some cartoon from like the 40s or something. Or some period. I got to get this cartoon and put it in the newsletter because I did save it. And it was implying that war is good for newspapers. And if war is good for newspapers, that's why Hearst was responsible for like getting the Spanish-American War cranked up, especially the Cuban battles.
It's great for CNN for sure.
And it's got to be great for CNN. It's great for all these guys. They make more money. So they're all in for war as long as, nothing really bad happens.
But look at.
So we're going to rebelize Iran.
But look at what happens in the same week on the same show. Don't you dare say anything bad about AIPAC. Don't you dare say anything about Israel. Hamas, Hezbollah cells in Iran. I mean, come on. Could it be any more clear?
Yeah, so that's what we're up.
Disgusting warmongering.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh, yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda in the morning.
Yeah, like 3 or 4 days of rain, so we're getting nothing but ants everywhere.
Ants. Got ants. Ants.
Let's save a few people. Let's thank a few people for show 1112 helping us out here, and starting with John Lips, $121. Parts unknown. Sir Finch in Portland, Oregon. He wants to bring back Club 33. He donated $111.11.
Burned down.
Manuel Obando. Manuel Obando. He's also known as Sergeant Postal. Isn't that your buddy?
Nope.
Oh.
That's Armando Guerra.
Guerra. $111.10. Marco Schneff in Zurich, Switzerland. Schweiz. A lot of people want to send blankets or water. I just send my cash. Well, that's what we
love and light to you, Marshall. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, $100. Paul Levy, $100. Say S. James, $100. Justin Deweygood. What do you think?
I would say Dewey Gooey.
Could be. 808 Boob. Viscount of Luna, Sir Stephen McLaughlin in Locust, North Carolina. Excuse me. See, he says his newsletter always ends up in the inbox, and he's got Gmail. So this is really makes it even more difficult.
But there's a lot of people who connected their email through Gmail, maybe with IMAP or with Pop, and I'm not so sure that everyone's just using the Gmail service.
Oh, maybe.
Just saying.
Cameron Hurd in Austin, Minnesota. 6789. David Rich.
Wait, he needs a de-douching. He's been a D-bag for way too long. And 73s.
You've been de-douched.
You betcha.
You know, I forgot to mention this, but Sir Rogue sent a card, and this card is. I wish he signed it at the bottom. He says, "Go see email." But this card, it's really a very funny card. It looks like a card. Don't you just hate it when folks go all out and don't even say what they're thinking? Then it opens, and there's another little thing. Then it flips open again to be about the size of a newspaper. Then it flips open again to be a giant poster.
Wow.
It says, "Big thanks to you."
Oh.
I just thought it was one of the more cute cards that we've received recently. David Richley, meanwhile, in Mentor on the Lake, Ohio, sent a check in.
We like checks.
And he did send a note.
We accept checks.
We like checks. He wants a de-douching.
Okay.
You've been de-douched.
And he mentions that he sends me a poster. Apparently the Zephyr trains, a lot of them, were taken from Los Angeles and put on the Cuyahoga Valley Railway in 1880. The valley goes on about the history of this. He says it's now providing. It's one of these excursions. You get on the train. It's like a joke. It's providing service has become another way to escape the pressures of urban industrial life, and it's going through the national park. But the Zephyr cars are now being pulled by a steam locomotive through the park.
Bah.
I think that's an abomination, personally.
So wrong.
It's an abomination.
Well,
Get an old Western Pacific, diesel or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, David Richley, that's him. Mike Dean in Fairmont, West Virginia, 6006. Sirloin, night of the new Smyrna Beach in Osteen, Florida, 60.
And he says, a little bump on top of my $10 monthly subscription. The No Agenda mental health plan is far superior to anything Big Pharma has to offer. Boom.
That's true. Christopher Dechter, 5678. Tim Tillman in New Kent, Virginia, 5510. Caitlin Breederland in Edmonton, Alberta. Happy Valentine's Day, she says. 55. Richard Dominelli, Sir Greek Heretic in Clifton Park, New York.
This is donation for his daughter Angela's 16th birthday tomorrow. 56. And she apparently routinely is hitting people in the mouth in her class with No Agenda topics. And is his walking bubble of awesome.
5316. Ann Lucer, 51. Roses are red, violets are blue. Thanks for cleaning my poo. Happy Valentine's Day, Dad. Much love.
Okie dokie. All righty then.
That's pretty funny. Brian Burgess in Pelican Rapids, Minnesota, 5033. Pate Snake.
Sir Pate.
In Amsterdam, 50. Christy in Ottawa, Ontario. These are all $50 donors.
And she has a note. Please de-douche my common law husband, Stu. Here's to giving each other the finger behind each other's back for more years to come. At least now you'll officially be de-douched while you do it.
You've been de-douched.
I can only imagine.
I don't want to think about it. Robert Weber in San Jose, California. Dame Patricia Worthington in Miami, Florida. She must be a baroness by now.
She's ruling all of the
Port
place.
Orchard, Washington. Jason Clegg in San Diego, California. Kimberly Redmond in Toronto, Ontario. Mark Johnson in Aurora, Colorado. Trevor Hoagland in Portland, Oregon. John Haller in Missoula, Montana. A lot of 50s today. Good. Richard Gardner, parts unknown. Sir Richard Gardner. Jonathan Ferris in Liberal, Kansas. Robert Bruckner, parts unknown. Brett Yo in Catonsville, Missouri. Keith Yarborough in Austin, Texas. Robert Kerback in Essexville, Michigan. Heather Latta, parts unknown. Sir Austin of the Snowy Cascades in Sammamish, Washington is our last well-wisher, and we want to thank everybody who helped us out on show 1112.
Yes. Gracias. Thank you all very much. This is incredibly helpful. If we could have segments like this on every show, that'd be great. But we will continue to remind you that this is your show and you're the producers and you contribute in many ways, and financially is one that we appreciate. And a reminder, we have a lot of face-to-face, in-person, face-to-face meetups coming up. February 22nd, the Keeper and I will be in Des Moines, Iowa. And you need to go to noagendameetups.com in order to get the exact locations. March 2nd, we have the big event here in Austin, Texas at the Austin Beer Works at 3:33 p.m. And March 3rd, the Arlington, Virginia, the Spook Meetup. I think DC Girl is hosting that. So those are our 3 meetups on the books for right now. Check them out, and hopefully we'll see you at one of these. What I have to remember. Oh, yes. noagendameetups.com. That's weird. Is that like a separate site? Did Eric build that? What happened? That's kind of interesting.
No. Somebody built it. Mimi's running it.
Okay. Mimi's running it. Oh, all is well then. There's nothing to worry about. Thank you again. Remember, this is your show. You produce it.
Snowed in.
She's snowed in still?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. Global warming.
Yeah. We have another show on Sunday. Please remember us at
Dvorak.org/NA.
For those who need it.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs. You've got karma.
It's a birthday.
And today is the 14th of February. It is Valentine's Day, 2019. We say happy birthday to a short list. Gregory Pierce will turn 42 on Saturday. Richard Dominelli says happy birthday to his daughter Angela. She turns 15 tomorrow. And Heather Lala says happy birthday to her smoking hot boyfriend Marty Williamson. I presume celebrating today. Happy birthday from everybody here at the best podcast in the universe. And then we do have this one, Daming. So, ow, sorry. I was trying to pick up the sword and tripped. There we go. That's my sword. Do you have yours under
Yeah, it's right here.
Yeah, okay, all right. I was slow today. Anonymous, send your smoking hot wife up here to the podium. She's about to join the dames and knights of the No Agenda Roundtable. We are very pleased to have you here. And, of course, this is due to support of the show in the amount of $1,000 or more. And I'm very proud to pronounceate the Dame Dream, Mad Dame of the Mid-Valley. For you, we have Rent Boys and Chardonnay. We've got Paprikash and Hot Toddies, Isle of Dura, single malt whiskey and French onion soup. We got Goat Chops and Goat Milk, Diet Soda and Video Games, Harlots and Haldol, Breast Milk and Pablum, Ginger Ale and Gerbils, Geishas and Sake, Sparkling Cider and Escorts, or Mutton and Meat. And our brand new dame can head on over to noagendanation.com/rings, and we will gladly take your measurements and have Eric the Shill send out a ring post haste.
Come gather round, douchebag, producer and slave, as we all thank your brothers and sisters who gave, and some of them knights, some of them dames, for the titles are changing.
Yes, Sir Rogue Black Knight and Baron of the Palouse and Silver Mountain today becomes Rogue Viscount of the Palouse and the Silver Mountain. Viscount of the Palouse and the Silver Mountain. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for your support. Remember, we're back on Sunday, Dvorak.org/NA to support the show. There is hope. There is hope.
You better hide your stash because there's a war on cash.
That's right. There is good news in the war on cash as the slaves are starting to revolt. It was a little unexpected. I'm seeing articles everywhere about what do you call it? Lashing back? No, blowback.
They're making laws, legislative guys who are usually in Jersey, maybe Nevada, places, San Francisco, Chinatown.
Well, we're seeing this. We're seeing companies wanting to go non-cash, all plastic or touch or whatever.
Against the law.
Well, What's the law? The law is not.
When I have a dollar bill, it says legal tender for all debts.
Yes, that's correct. There's no law that says that you are forced to do that, but they are creating a law to support what you just said.
In a world full of technology, some Philadelphia businesses are no longer willing to accept cash. Like Sweetgreen. If you'd like a healthier option, you better have a bank account. Something Councilman Bill Greenlee says isn't fair.
You don't have a credit card, and well, you can go to 7-Eleven, with all due respect to 7-Eleven. The salad might have been sitting there for 2 days in a carton, but that's okay for you. They'll accept cash, but we don't.
I think that's
Well,
grounds.
if I was 7-Eleven PR, I'd be on his case saying you're going to get sued for saying that.
Yeah, for sure.
And that, if it's not discrimination, it's elitism. And I just think government has a place to get involved in it.
Councilman Greenlee introduced a bill that would make it illegal for commercial businesses to not accept cash. That bill will be considered by a Philadelphia City Council committee Tuesday morning. Those who frequent businesses that do not accept cash weren't fazed by the proposed bill.
To me, I like the in and out fastness, so I prefer the app or a credit card.
One time I came with cash and didn't have my credit card, and they gave me this out for free. So they were kind enough to just let me know next time, just please bring my credit card.
Though most customers weren't fazed, they agreed people should have the option.
If that's how somebody wants to pay and they want to pay in cash, I think they should be able to.
Oh, I can definitely understand why people would be upset that they can't come in and use cash. Absolutely, because most of the time I am a cash person, but for things like this, quick and easy in and out, I usually use the app or a credit card.
Now, we reached out to Sweetgreen, but have not heard back from anyone with that company. If this proposed bill passes, it will go in effect in July.
I really hope this passes. I pray that Austin, Texas passes something like, or Texas, but a city law would be good too. I pray for that, because then right away I'll be like, okay, I need the same for these damn electric scooters. I need the same for the Uber. You need to be able to pay with cash everywhere. It could start an interesting blowback.
That would be interesting to try to pull off what you just described.
I could
if
run
cash has to be acceptable everywhere. That means it has to be acceptable
everywhere.
On the scooter.
Exactly, on the scooter, in the Uber. In the Uber. Mm-hmm. I hope it happens.
Well, it'll be a nice battle. All right.
OTG for a second. I haven't really done an OTG segment in a while, but I got an email from Jacob, which spurred me to discuss the off-the-grid solutions that I have implemented for myself, and I probably should give a little update on how everything is going with that. Hey, Adam, 18-year-old millennial here asking for some advice on an OTG phone. It's been about 2 months since deleting all social media, and I think I'm ready to take the full leap. I would still like to be able to do basic business things as you do. I've been listening to the show for years with my parents and have many observations to share from a regular dose of no agenda at a young age. I've been a douchebag for a long time, but money coming soon. Have a good one, Jacob. Well, Jacob, first of all, thank you for your courage. The phone that I have settled with, which I just completely love, is the Nokia E71. But here's what's interesting. Although I did start off, it has a browser in there. You can set up the Opera browser, and it works on 3G, so that you still have some kind of speed. Yeah, it's got an email client. You can do some email. The main thing for me is I can receive and send text messages, even a shitty picture if I wanted to use the 3.2 megapixel camera. And it has a physical keyboard, so you're not dealing. That was the main problem with OTG phones, is you're dealing with either predictive text or a lot. That's really it's Morse code is proven faster than texting with an old phone. But here's what's interesting: I barely use the phone at all when I go anywhere. I mean, Tina is probably the only person who texts me. I text back. If she texts me twice in a row, I call her. I said I can't keep up with my phone.
Violation!
That's no violation. She loves it. But here's something else that I noticed. We were talking about our kids. I text with Christina, and it's just SMS texting. Tina uses the iMessage with her daughters. And here's a frustration that I also used to have. You'll send something to your kid. You'll see on your iPhone or whatever, you'll see, they've received it and 2 blue check marks or whatever. They read it, but they don't reply. And you walk around like, what if this asshole kid of mine reply? You read it. I mean, what am I, not important to you? Reply. And I realized that ever since I've gone OTG, I don't know. I send a text message. I have no idea if she read it. I don't know if she's gonna read it. I can turn off my brain. Less stress. It's such a beautiful thing. That's just one of the small benefits of going completely off the grid. Well, not completely, but removing distraction, removing tracking, and the benefit of 5 days of battery life. This, however, dear Jacob, the millennial, does not seem to be something that your age group is capable of doing. Witness NPR, who have some millennial journos, an experiment. Can I break up with big tech?
Facebook and Google and Amazon have become tech giants because they've made a science of being a part of everything we do, from shopping to taking care of our kids to connecting with friends and relatives. Despite the scandals and concerns about their practices, modern life is seemingly impossible without them. Impossible. Or is it? Kashmir Hill is a reporter for Gizmodo. She tried to cut Amazon, Facebook, Google, Microsoft, and Apple out of her life.
Notice she didn't say Twitter. Found that to be interesting.
And she joins us now to explain her experiment. Welcome.
Thank you.
I got to ask you, first of all, how did this idea come up?
It was inspired partly by, when people are criticizing these companies or complaining about how powerful they are, how privacy invasive they are, people will say, well, if you don't like the company, then just stop using their products. And so I wanted to find out if that was possible.
Right.
And spoiler, it's not possible.
It's not possible. Right. Okay.
So I found the laughter about this not being possible, which also, do I really need to hear the rest of the report? But it's like, ha ha ha, everyone knows you can't live without them. Yeah, I know. Spoiler alert, you can't live without, you have to live with all the Google the technologies. It's kind of a little disgusting for NPR. Let's listen to her conclusion.
I mean,
it's
the big thing
you pointed out something you have to dwell on for at least 1 second.
Yeah, you got it.
These guys, all the media guys, are clueless that they are just promoting the enemy.
They're promoting sickness.
Well, that too. That they don't see that. They're never going to see that part of it. But it's logical that they'd see that they're promoting the enemy.
Yeah, the enemy of their business.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we are the enemy of their business right here, ripping them to shreds under fair use policies. Let's hear the conclusion of these laughing millennials.
I mean, the big thing I learned is that it's not possible to navigate the modern world without coming into contact with these companies.
John, you hear that? It's not possible to navigate the modern world. I don't know what the modern world is without coming into contact with these companies.
I do it.
They are unavoidable. It made me certainly sympathetic to some of the critics who are saying that these companies are too dominant in their spaces. When I went off of Facebook's products, because Facebook bought Instagram, it controls everywhere where my friends are. And so by rejecting Facebook, I had to
Sorry?
Hold on a second. Everywhere where her friends aren't in the computer. Her friends aren't on. Her friends are in a house, or her friends are in an apartment, or her friends are someplace you can call them up and say hello. They're not stuck inside of something.
To her, if you listen carefully, yes, to her friend, her friends are gone. They live there. No, this is actually, I believe she suffers from psychosis.
Bought Instagram, it controls everywhere where my friends are. And so by rejecting Facebook, I had to reject a lot of people in my life, and it was very hard to stay in contact with them.
Oh, so difficult because I didn't know what they were eating.
But there were certainly benefits to rejecting the tech giants, because it forced me to reject technology completely in many cases. Like I couldn't watch TV because we don't have cable and internet TV didn't work. And I think that was really...
it was the end of the world!
Good for me. I got out of some bad...
You got an antenna.
tech habits, and I'm just kind of looking at screens less. So if nothing else, I'm glad I did this experiment in terms of becoming kind of a healthier tech user.
Healthier? She sounds like she needs to see a shrink immediately.
She does need help. I agree. Just a couple more points.
By the way, I want to mention this. All the millennials I know, which are the ones in our little family grouping and even extended a little bit, none of them know that you can hook an antenna up to almost every screen you buy from Costco or every place else.
Yeah, and the antenna's like $8.
The antenna's cheap.
You can put it on the back of your TV. You can just stick it against the wall.
You want, but you can put it. You can move it around. But it's a little the flat panel like antennas are the best ones, it seems.
Yeah,
the ones I've used. And they get good for 50 miles, if there's and even further, especially if you have line of sight. But yeah, it's like, wow, I wonder what that button on my remote that says TV was for.
You know what's great about hooking up one of those antennas? You learn a lot of Spanish.
Well, around here, you learn more Chinese and Vietnamese, especially Vietnamese.
Researchers have uncovered a major security flaw in the temperature control systems of thousands of hospitals, supermarket chains around the world, including the United Kingdom, Australia, Israel, Germany, the Netherlands, Malaysia, Iceland, and others. These temperature control systems are implemented in the ICS environment to perform various sensitive operations such as combustion, chemical reaction, fermentation, drying, calcination, distillation, concentration, extrusion, crystallization, air conditioning. Uncovered security flaws in poorly configured systems have revealed the default username is 1234 with the default password 1234. This is beautiful. Someone will actually die from this stupid insanity.
Yeah.
It will happen. And then the last one, New York City. You'll see this happen everywhere. New York City has finally published some new ride-sharing regulations, and so it's like a deal about how many cars can be driving around. And I don't know if they're doing anything with pricing, but in the Taxi Limousine Commission rules, that's the New York TLC, buried in them is a provision that forces everyone who uses these app-based systems to report the location of every driver and passenger to the Taxi and Limousine Commission at an interval no less frequent than every 60 seconds. So there you have it. I mean, why would you use this? I mean, it's already obvious that Uber is tracking you. They know exactly what you're doing. But now that information will be given to the Taxi and Limousine Commission and God knows who else as a part of the deal.
Huh.
This is not, you may say, I got nothing to hide. But yes, you do. We all have something to hide. Same goes for the 16% of U.S. adults who own a smartwatch. Give that shit up. You'll live longer, I promise.
Yeah, I'm OTG. You can't find me. Yes, I'm OTG. You can't find me. Yeah, I'm OTG. No eyes on me.
That's right. Go OTG, off the grid. Starts with the phone. You'd be amazed at how much time you have to look at other people and smile at how dumb they look.
Look around at anything. It's unbelievable.
Just anything in general. You know, we're going down the elevator to last night to go to the play, and Tina's on her phone. Now, she had some actual professional work to do, which is the only reason she still carries it, because she has a big day today, big conference. But then all four other people in the elevator, all on the phones, and I'm just sitting like looking at them, looking at one of the dogs, and dogs looking at me like, dude, what's going on?
You should be, when it's all like that, you should be spending most of your time coughing up phlegm. See if anyone pays attention.
I shall report back. It's a good idea.
Yeah. Well, let's do a couple of raps here. I want to get the Guzman thing out of the way.
Pablo Guzman.
I mean, I would be this guy. I unless they get him to a supermax really fast, I think he's going to escape again.
That would be quite a bad mark for our system if we let him go.
The whole system. There's something corrupt about this guy. Well, obviously, but I mean, in terms of how we deal with him. But let's play the Guzman update. We'll keep up.
In lavish lifestyle, like texts with his wife Emma Coronel that show Guzman seeming to suggest one of their 6-month-old twin girls should be given a firearm. He himself owned a diamond-encrusted monogrammed pistol and a gold-plated AK-47, among other weapons.
¿Quién es él? ¿Le gustaba la fama? Hay que ser sinceros, yo creo que sí le gustaba, sí le gusta.
And while El Chapo's lawyers maintain that their client is not actually the drug kingpin he's being described as, the evidence presented in court built up. Beyond his extravagant lifestyle, the trial has also magnified how El Chapo allegedly led a regime full of fear and corruption. Witnesses testified that Guzman ordered multiple executions. Part of that culture is having loyal allies, but after being put behind bars, many former associates came out against him. Some of Guzman's closest associates have testified against the drug lord, like Alex Cifuentes, who considered himself Guzman's right-hand man. Cifuentes testified that the drug kingpin even paid $100 million to former Mexican President Enrique Peña Nieto as a bribe so he could stay in business. Peña Nieto's former...
Wasn't that Obama's buddy, Peña Nieto?
Yeah.
Chief of Staff has denied this claim and calls Cifuentes' testimony, quote, false, defamatory, and absurd. He says it was Peña Nieto's government which captured and extradited El Chapo. Peña Nieto himself did not respond when CNN reached out for comment. Evidence released in court also claimed Guzman has bribed a number of other Mexican authorities. When Guzman was extradited to the U.S., he pleaded not guilty to 17 federal charges, including leading a continuing criminal enterprise, firearm violations, and money laundering.
You know, we got to talk to CNN. That was possibly the most boring report I've ever heard. The monotone read, this drivel underneath her voice. Num, 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 num. What a, professionally speaking, what a piece of crap package.
Well, yeah. Well, CNN, they're either really bad or horrible.
Jeez.
Really nothing in between.
And that's all there really was. There wasn't much extra reporting, really. I didn't catch much else about it.
He's done, but we'll see what happens because I think he still has one escape left in him.
Oh, I need to correct something. We were talking about Bezos Pecker.
Yeah, what about his pecker?
Bezos and Pecker and the National Enquirer. So I did some sleuthing, and I made a mistake. I was talking about a $500 million deal. The contract, the Pentagon contract, the JEDI contract, JEDI, is a $10 billion contract, and Microsoft is indeed in the race, but the lawsuit, because of how the FAQ or the RFP was put together, it was done with former executives from Amazon. So, the request for proposals is put together by people from Amazon with questions that obviously only people from Amazon could answer. Is Oracle. Oracle have filed suit. So, I don't know, maybe Larry Ellison could have said, you know what, I can see Ellison doing this.
Oh, yeah.
Screw this Bezos guy.
He's got it in him.
Screw this Bezos guy. Let's get it. And now as it turned out that you were so right that his Bezos' lover, as he's described, his lover, that she admits, well, I showed it to my friends.
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
They always do.
Yeah. Way to go, Mr.
Alert, man. Alert. They will show their pictures.
Yeah.
So don't be dumb.
No.
All right, I've got one last clip. I think we're wrapping, right?
Yeah. Well,
and I did this actually. I was going to put this off and get use it for more back of my Iranian theory that we're going to go to war with Iran. And this is the one. This is the dubious story. NBC would be the ones to run. I don't know anyone else has run this story, even though it's a horrible story that needs to be discussed.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. This is the spy the spy story, the spook story, and it involves Iran. Once again, I'm telling you, something's up. Something's going to happen.
Prosecutors say Monica Witt served nearly 11 years in the Air Force as an intelligence officer, 2 more years as a contractor, then secretly defected to Iran in 2013 and turned spy. In return, the FBI says the Iranians gave her housing and computers. Investigators say she revealed details of secret U.S. intelligence programs and the names of overseas intelligence sources, information that could damage U.S. security. The FBI says she also told these 4 Iranian cyber spies the names of her former American intelligence colleagues, whose computers were then hacked.
It's a sad day anytime one of our members of our armed forces or anyone in America betrays her country, as we've alleged that Monica Witt has done.
Prosecutors say she defected after attending 2 of these anti-Western conferences organized by the Iranian government, then texted her handler, "If all else fails, I just may go public with a program and do like Snowden." The FBI says agents warned her that Iran might try to recruit her as a spy, but that she said she'd never do that. A year later, she was in Iran making anti-U.S. videos. And the FBI says she's still believed to be there. Pete Williams, NBC News at the Justice Department.
Wow, there's a name we haven't heard for a while.
Yes, yeah, Snowden.
Huh.
I'm not sure. I was thinking about that because they threw that. That was gratuitous. I don't believe this woman. This woman could be a plant. She could be CIA. She could be a million things. She might. They have a picture of her as the Air Force officer, and then they have a picture of her in a hijab or a scarf, and she's now dark. Somehow she's now dark skinned, and she got a big mole on her cheek that wasn't there in the other pictures. And so, and one of the things about the CIA, they like to brag about one of the things they're good at is not costumes, but disguises.
Disguises, undercover,
undercover disguise. So you can't. The goal is to walk into a place where your friends are and they can't recognize you. Exactly right. So this is like some sort of bull crap. The story, I don't know what, but it's again anti-Iran, and it's going to have something to do with what we're going to see, which is going to be a major, horrible false flag event, and it's going to be blamed on Hezbollah, and it's going to be traced back to Iran. We're going to have to go in. We're going to have to go in.
Well, I'm going to end the show on that happy note, and I think we've both concluded the same. It's nice to see how the deconstruction comes together live on the air. And thank you, producers, because you make it all possible. Remember us at Dvorak.org/NA. That's where you can support the show financially. Whatever you thought it was worth. Couple hours, just a couple dudes, or did you learn something? Are you extra healthy? Let us know at Dvorak.org/NA. And coming to you from downtown, Austin, Texas, capital of the Drone Star States, FEMA Region number 6, and all the governmental maps in the 5x9 Cludio in the common law condo. In the morning, everybody, I'm Adam Curry.
And from sunny, but no, it's rainy California, northern Silicon Valley to be exact, I'm John C. Dvorak.
And with thanks to Tom Starkweather and brand new mixer Matt Lazzari for our end of show mixes. Until Sunday, adios, mofos, and such.
Donate to a No Agenda. They give ushers week after week. Donate to a No Agenda. It's a show that's really unique. Donate to a No Agenda. Listen to John and Adam speak. Donate to a No Agenda. Science is turning into a clique.
I don't think this entire line of questioning is meant to be real questions, and so I will not reply.
How can you spoil a system that is already broken?
I don't know why Speaker Pelosi or anybody else should be saying, oh, here, we're sorry, we don't want to upset you, we'll give you more money.
I did great. I made a lot of money.
Any collusion?
You know, the Russia delusion, absolutely no collusion between Trump and the Russia.
I reserve the right to my time.
It is not right.
That was not a question.
You know, you have to reprogram the money.
The media
at this point is parsing words in a way that the average Virginians aren't.
No agenda.
In the morning.
Hey, citizen.
In the morning.
Bingo. We need a beat.
Amen. Fist bump.
Fact check false.
Bingo.
Fact check false.
Bingo.
Amen. Fist bump.
Fact check false.
Bingo.
Fact check false.
Bingo.
My millennials, stay woke.
Fact check false.
Bingo.
Resist. We must.
Oh my gosh. Can you see that juice? Get out of my vagina.
Don't laugh.
Fact check false.
Bingo. Thanks, Obama.
Coincidence? I think not.
Don't eat me, Hillary Clinton. Shut up, slave.
Fact check false. Fact check false.
Bingo.
Monsanto.
Bingo.
Mofo.
Oh my God! Wow! Listen to that horn!
Adios, mofo.
Don't eat me, Hillary Clinton.
Stay woke!
The best podcast in the universe.
Adios, mofo.
Dvorak.org/NA.
Oh my God.